Hello, and welcome back to the B stream here with another elimination game, as they are pretty much all day. Happy Fluke.
Yeah, gonna send someone home.
Yes. There you go. Don't yes it. We can see the bracket here. We've obviously had our first victims in the bottom left. R6 to W7M and loss to Bleed. So sort of swapped success stories there across the Brazilian region versus Korea and SEA, or ones from the sort of wider APAC region. And we are unfortunately about to guarantee a wider APAC region team to go home here. Bliss versus Fury. In the bottom left is the showdown on this stream. Who will survive to fight Wolves?
Yeah, that's true. How do you spell bracket, Emmy? Just
I don't. BRACKET.
Okay, yeah.
Is how it's spelled.
That's correct.
Correctly. Our producer spelled it wrong earlier.
But yeah, it's going to be an exciting matchup between the two of them. And I think that it's also a matchup where two of them were maybe expected to go out in groups. And now they find themselves in the lower bracket here in an important fighter. Because whoever wins is going to go on to play later. So they're not even safe if they win today to live and fight another day.
Lower bracket run, baby.
You live to fight later this day.
Live to fight later this day, and obviously one of these teams fell to this position yesterday, and one of these teams has been sat here waiting. That is the one that you see on screen right now. Bliss, the Australians, are going to see if they can try and wave that OCE flag, the only team to represent from that region for a very long time, and B, on any of the sort of major stages as well. This year, they have great performances. They've been so bitterly close on so many occasions, on so many maps. Now's the time to try and bring all of that together here. It starts with a run against, obviously, people that you've played before. Fury, who didn't quite find the success yesterday.
No, they didn't. I mean, the first map looked really good for them. The second one, it started to be a bit wobbly. And that last one, just basically completely outplayed by their opponents. So Fury definitely are looking to improve themselves today, to go back onto the mistakes they've made and make sure that they can keep up the momentum that they were building on after that first map last night. So again, one of those teams that maybe a lot of people would have expected to go out in groups. And you know, I'm going to be honest here, I actually had them on my pick'ems as going out in groups as well. So
really?
Yeah, they surprised me.
You're not a believer.
They made sure I'm not going to get the full alpha pack.
I didn't even do my pick.
You did? Do you pick it? Yeah, still do them for the playoffs.
Whoa, I gotta get on my pick'ems for the playoffs. What do we have to get on? Well, probably soon we'll find out where these two teams are playing. Now, I sort of alluded it to before. Here it is. Chalet, Border, and Consulate. They have met once upon a time, a long time ago, in a best of 3. None of these maps were the options they went with. This is fresh territory and at least the head-to-head consideration.
Yeah, I mean, that was last year for SI23 qualifiers of their respective regions. So it's literally quite a long time ago. There's been roster changes since then. There has been changes in the map veto since then as well. Plenty of time to get yourself accustomed to the other maps, or you know, maps that usually weren't in your map pool.
Getting the pump on.
It's gonna get the hype ready, you know. The blood flowing.
How good are you at flags?
What?
I'm pretty sure that's a Korean flag, right? I'm terrible at geography. I'm just going to set that up first.
It's a Korean flag, yeah.
That's technically the only Korean representation we have left in the tournament, I believe, after what happened with F earlier.
Yes. As far as I know, you are correct.
Not to put more pressure onto this team. That's the sort of point I'm alluding to here. Because of the result that's just happened, I was setting you up. I thought you were a flag guy.
No, I mean, I just didn't know where you were going with that. But yes, it is a Korean flag that was that we saw.
Last bit of Korean representation is also covered by the only bit of OS representation as well. Here they're really...
It's not the only bit of OS representation.
Okay,
the virtue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the casters for a second.
No, I mean, we also have
Virtue's been naturalized now. He's European. He's ours now. We have to claim him. We need the best players. It's like in rugby. If you live somewhere for a certain amount of time,
and
you
can
play the part of the national team. It would be weird.
Is that how it works in rugby? Because I think, like in football, for example, you choose what nationality you want to play for.
Football, you can
when
choose.
You're like 18.
In rugby, I'm sure Fresh is somewhere saying I'm right or wrong. In rugby, when you live and play for a league for a certain amount of time, you can then play for the national team. AKA Virtue is European. Take that. Take that, guys and Xenox. And Rob, if you're awake.
I'm not sure if Virtue agrees with it himself.
Virtue. Yeah, take that, Virtue. You're allowed to choose which European country you're from, but you have to be
European.
EU. We need that. We need that win. We'll be in. Let's start. Chalet, what are your thoughts here on the first map?
Well, you know, we've seen it quite a bit here and there. We've actually seen it 3 times from Fury, and they've won it 3 times as well, pretty consistently. I mean, NIP yesterday, of course, managed to get a 7-4 victory against Scars as well, against Falcons, a 7-1. So, I believe it was Bliss's pick. Yeah, it is. So that makes me wonder a little bit. Have they watched and have they found whatever is the secret ingredient to beat Fury here? Because they played it twice and only managed to take it home once, and that was against D+, which was a 7-3 victory. And they lost it against Wolves on a 8-6. So, mixed results for Bliss. Fury, on the other hand, just dubs for now.
Just dubs for now. So what makes you think it's confident enough for Bliss to be the one to pick and drive it?
It might be that they've seen, you know, the play and they realize that there is counters to it. Of course, yesterday when we were watching this game against NIP left a lot of open ground out there, left a lot of opportunities that could be utilized by the side of Fury. And that really allowed them to just, you know, start flying into that map. So maybe if they play a bit more of a compact game, maybe that is how you can stop Fury from shining that much in the map.
Here we go. Find ourselves sliding in here with a very balanced 47-53. We haven't really had too many actually balanced predictions. I think the most level I've seen across all the series that I've covered here.
I've had a 50-50.
You had a 50-50?
I've had a 50-50.
Who is it between?
I don't know anymore, but okay. I've had a 50-50.
I'm glad it had
day 2 or 3.
A lasting impression.
Yeah.
Think about it.
I just know it was a 50-50. I just don't know who it was anymore.
Okay.
That's a lot of series now. It's like, and there's 3 maps per series, and every single time it changes. I don't know.
Right. See, usually when you interact with a point, you're supposed to then follow up with the point.
I just said.
I noticed. We're already losing it. The game hasn't even started. I think it's the mania that's left in this room after the W7M VRX game.
It felt great.
Okay. Gonna bet Jesse's jacket on it?
Yeah, I'll bet Jesse's jacket on it.
You now get Jesse's jacket.
Oh yeah. Need a new jacket.
I don't know if it'll fit you.
me.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Jesse is a
bit smaller than I am.
A little bit more narrow. Wine Cellar Snowmer, we start here, and as you sort of alluded to, it's not that this is statistically a wipeout for Bliss. It's something where there is some play here, there is some wiggle room, there is some back and forth. What are we going to get? A sense.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs.
Every operator at this tournament has been played.
Yeah, that went quite quick. I remember some tournaments where it takes until like the pocket strat to come out in like quarterfinals or something.
Yeah.
We've had everything in groups, and I think we've had every single side as well that was played so far. So really showing that everything is really possible. Yeah, got plays on every single site. So
beautiful, perfect.
Now, are they all successful? That's always the other question. But we are headed towards Snowmobile, and because it is that basement site, we do often see that first floor. It's important. Verticality is often a name of the game, and we see Sledge to be brought out. Not an operator we have seen much ever since the nades have been nerfed. We've seen more Buck as a result of it. Ash as well being out there, so plenty of opportunity to open up the floor. Of course, some heart reach to open up, well, either on the Wine Silver side of things, depends on what kind of a take you want to go for. That's a very tight angle trying to go for there, yeah. Don't have to be afraid that you're taking some shots back, because there's definitely some cover out there.
There's some physics answer for what makes that easier to get some control of here. I'm curious as to the expectations of this being the first lead-in site. Obviously, as we said, you know, they have success on this, even as close as yesterday. It was the one map they took in their showdown against NIP Fury, so they're kind of happy to be back here so quickly. They had a better run statistically on the defense. Crit J is almost able to open it up. They did open with their attack yesterday. The officer plays the little pocket attacks. Crit J caught. Perfectly executed, both in position and well execution there. Sage over the top. Lycolis has taken shrugs of damage. Slowly creeps their way back via West Main towards the site itself as the rest of the clear happens on the top of the stories.
E1D pops off. Nothing really following up on it. Just making sure that that top floor is going to be completely theirs before they start headed down towards the complete first. Blue mine's out there, but well, that is what it is. Pull those out. I mean, you know, it does a little bit of damage, but
it is what it is.
It's just a little bit of damage. Doesn't do much more. There's no one to follow up on it.
It is what it is.
No, just a 10 damage. What it is, yeah. A little damage on Lycolis as he's going to be leaning into the trench area. Be facing off against a DMR as well with his slug shotgun, basically very similarly behaving guns out there. Fisho spotting out the shoulder while one of the players goes for the pre-fire, not able to connect to anything though. Have opened up onto Wine, and it seems like a Wine execute is close as I9 goes down to about 5 HP as well. The grenade might actually follow him off. It's forced out. Brendo shuts him down.
They're going for the plant. They've tucked themselves in towards the default. It's a bit of a tricky retake here. As you can see, they're double stacked. The C4 will thread, but it won't get the catch. Not sure if it was shot out. Oda gets a lockdown. BG Man gets one back. Huge gun that cannot quite find the angle, and a strong opener here for Bliss. They're able to take their first attack round.
Yep.
How far can they get before things start to become a little bit of a statement piece here?
Well, the thing with Bliss is that they don't do blowouts. They always want to go to like 7-5 or what was it, 8-7, 8-6.
I don't know if they want to.
No, they don't want to, but they have a habit to.
They
right?
do.
It's like they just somehow end up there every single time. It is truly one of the miracles of competitive Siege, but it just keeps happening. But a beautiful opening from them here. They didn't take more than they needed. They had the hatch under control. They opened up the walls that were necessary, and you know, the grenade being used there to dislocate the person right back into your crossfire was a beautiful way to play it as well. Finding those kills, locking them off, having the opportunity to then get that plan down. So good execute from Bliss. Again, not having to extend over the entirety of the map, just taking what's necessary, focusing on that plant, which is kind of the playbook that Fury had yesterday as well. They take what they needed, they went for the plant, that was successful. Bliss now bringing it against them.
Chalet is always a map that can start to build momentum as it goes on. You have short snappy takes, but you look at how that works structurally from this side of Bliss. Very quick. It's getting into the top floor and getting that pinch onto the trophy player. They made sure that they had at least 3 around and circling and sort of ready to cook against Fury. Fury themselves, they need to get their heads on a swivel. That was the biggest punishment they suffered yesterday against NIP, who just always seemed to have an awareness in the second 2 maps of where Fury were A, trying to be, or B, wanted to try and survive in. It was the shutdown of the pushes, the movement, and then also just the capture of the back line that became a big consistent problem for them. Bliss, they've learned lessons, they've read the book and had a look to see where they think they can shake that out, and it is in that drive. Very quick routes and rotations round. Oda, yeah, jabs, might get himself set up with some security. Straight through, there's that yellow pings. I talked about the knowledge on the player position. Can they get themselves a second strike here onto Dark?
Falling off, actually, even though they have the pings, instead deciding to go for a air jab and cover of the flank. So, you know, he had the opportunity to try and strike onto the very first, deciding to not waste his life for it yet. And also calling the fact that it's maybe not that important to really have control of that as early on. Retiro manages to make it all the way through and take down the Kiba.
Twitch drone as well, moved in as he was focused on the Retiro. I think it's solo on my disc. Maybe even the Moot Jammer if it's very lucky. I9 is trying to steal someone's life. They're hoping this hasn't gone double-checked as a player has already rotated and is blowing open box as we speak. Show's making this territory a little bit more dangerous. They haven't given I9 the fight, but BG Man's willing to take one of his own. Does he know that they're just over the top of the soft? Misses it. The chassis of the site blocks out the player. The fire starts to pop in. It's Wettables. Gets caught first. BG Man goes for the swing, gets the revenge, back and forth, blow for blow, and dancing in a very narrow area. It's like Goldus has gone for an adventure with a shotgun labeled.
Oh!
Ow, unfortunately, Brendo wins it out. 2 versus 1 was going to be one or the other, and it's in their favor with 45 seconds. Dark. Usually, the first point of impact is the last. Bliss, 2 in a row, but a lot more contested that time.
Yeah, of course they were focusing themselves through the small opening that they've made into the breach as well. And as a result, you know, not the full droning, not the full information of the door onto the balcony, not knowing that there was someone right behind the breach, that makes things a lot more scrappy. Just those 2 pieces of information could have changed the entire round. Could have just made them snowball. So good play from Fury there in trying to evolve themselves into positions where they were unknown. I9, first of all, prone out there. BG men playing on the breach before the fire came through, able to pick up some huge kills. Unfortunately, though, for Fury, Bliss, able to just fight it back, bring it back, showing how resilient they can be. Because that's the second attack round done now. So definitely some good progress being made here by Bliss. If they find a third, then statistically, they're doing better than most teams were during a side.
Another rotation. They're going to make sure they find themselves on new sites every single time. Keep the game going, keep the game in motion. Again, it's still that sort of statistical surprise over this map coming here. It's the decision, I guess, double down. Fury were probably quite happy to see it as the option and the opt-in, and that will weigh against you. At what point do you think, well, we probably need to talk about this. We are on our defense. Yeah, we've had success on our attack. They were technically better than the defense yesterday, at least in the most recent memory. However, they've just not really been able to find themselves completely in an engagement. It was BG Man getting 3 kills that got things really as close as it was from aggressively pushing and peppering against Box itself. Brendo get himself just some drones back of the library if he can get a read on Dark.
And these are pretty similar strategies that we're seeing from the side of Fury on their defense. So Bliss really had the opportunity, due to the fact that they had an off day yesterday, to both scrim, but also to watch the game, prepare, see how they set up, and to be like, if it does come through in the Vito, which they would imagine it would if you beat a team like NRP on this map, the opportunity to strike through as Oda opens up. Finds Crit Jade. It's going to be the Izami gone. No more regenerative Kiba barriers to be tossed up. And, you know, losing a Legion, losing a Izami, any operator like that is always such a big hit, especially if it's early in the round.
Still holding on towards Rafters at this point as the pressure starts to come across. We saw NIP unable to force Fury out of these positions last time. Had to go for the swap, and it might be where the backer Sage is coming onto the rotate on towards Box. You have Wet, who's going to go for the swing at the same second as the E1D. They charge in all the way around. Oda gets one. Wet does get taken by I9. Fisher getting another. It's suddenly back and forth. Top of blue is there. Single player left. Like Colas, he's being forced out by the Bees, but what a great execute that turned into from Bliss.
Again, perfectly working together, not taking more than they have to here, and they know around where Lycolis is. Lots of damage being done to him from the vertical, and eventually it is a crossfire to coming from the window and the door as well. 3-0 Bliss. And are we going to see a tactical timeout from Fury right now, because they are just nowhere to be found to the same levels than compared to yesterday?
I mean,
yes, there you go. Mike goes down.
It's rough. It's rough so far because Bliss haven't given Fury anything. Fury have struggled to awaken to this engagement, struggled to awaken to this map. Only 2 players on the side of Fury have kills, I9 and BG Man. You're looking at the huge potential of Dark. You're looking at, obviously, Crit J with the sort of confidence he usually has on defense as well, and what he was able to do yesterday against NIP. Not even on the map yet. In the meantime, Brendo 7-1 over these opening 3 rounds. When you're sort of point man, when you're tip of the spear, when that first person in the building is in that much control, you need to sort of go, okay, this is not our game right now. We got to reset.
That's it, and you know, there's only so much you can do during this tactical timeout, but we really need to see Fury get back into it right away. And as I said, like, they're just holding off the right angles, forcing them into the right places, and the trades are on point for Bliss. It's not like they're taking 1v1s, it is 3v1s, 2v1s that are happening, because they're isolating these players and manipulating the space they have available to them to find these longer angles. And Fury, been able to find themselves in safe pockets where they can force 1v1s, where they can force advantageous positions for themselves. As they head back towards Snowmobile Garage and Wine Cellar. Last time we had the Wine execute, went very well for the side of Bliss. That was just a single kill coming through in the dying seconds of that round. The diffuser already had gone down, so that could have been a flawless round. Are they going to try that again? Or are they going to go for the complete opposite now?
10 seconds left before insertion.
I'm hoping to see more adventure map itself from the side of Fury. Okay, they had a little bit of a Roman exploration towards the Double West main, towards the kitchen, and it didn't work at all. But where they've been able to strike very, very well is sort of against the expectation of drone game. Bliss, they're probably a little less blinkered than I think NIP were at points yesterday, at least in their current sort of pace of play. Very different time of the day. You know, it is them coming off the back of a rest day as well. But there's always still that possibility. You have options on the board to play against that. You have options to remove. I mean, look. The fact that this Twitch drone is free to get all of this structural work done.
He was just scouting out. Is there any more important utility before I start sending out these shocks? Because then people are going to be alerted to the presence of it, and then that's when they're going to start trying to hunt it down.
It's like dry running utility clear. There was no pressure against them there.
No, for sure. And I mean, he was just checking if there's anything more important. Not the case. There we go. Second time. Sturdy floor there. Yeah. Managed to get through though. And a lot of utility already gone for the Wine Cellar execute. Yeah, they've got in a bit of a scruffle with one another.
Yeah, the window take isn't quite good enough for BG Matt against Brendo. Both of these players have been able to get themselves a sort of forefront of killing across their respective teams as of this moment in time. There is still some hold towards the backline prep, and there's 3 players, I think, currently sitting and drifting around the bar. Maybe just 2 now. Yeah, the rotate comes back round towards it. Now there's just 1 off site. But Crypto can cause some problems. Left alone, if left to his own devices long enough, as I said, it can be punished. If Fury are able to find that one little hole in the armor and attention and get a strike, which they did very well against NIP, you could have a bit of a moment. The break towards the default plant spot. They've already popped Goyo canisters. They know they've got some clearing clarity as the last one gone. We have about 30 seconds with this execute.
One was replaced indeed, so Dark picked one up and put it back in the default plant spot just so they could actually try and play a bit of that delay game. But 45 seconds left on the clock right now. Not a lot of utility left in pocket. If anything, just it's the impact that Dark is carrying. Makolos is looking to go for the flank, but of course it's happening in the meantime. In the mid-doorway, they don't even know it's out there, but they will manage to stop it just in time. However, I9 gets punished forward, and Bliss still have the advantage, and they're even expanding on it.
Trying to find their way back towards getting that kit recollected and turn around the corner, but there it is. Dropped again, Dark! Gets the double, gets dropped. It's a 4 versus 1. Crit J, the man about town, is all the way on the other side of it. 15 seconds. You'd beg for a finger charge right about now. Wins the fight on the verticality. They get one of their 2 players up. They're going to go for the plant and the cover. They have enough of it. However, he's got to choose his fight perfectly here because the down player is still a camera. We'll call this. He's behind you. They go for the swing round and have it. And it was scrappier than it's really been so far. They were picking things up on the doorway. Bliss, though, 4 in a row.
That was such a interesting plant attempt. In the middle of the doorway, when someone can swing you from blue, when someone can just swing in from, like, the rotation. And, like, let's just try it, right? Because the watching the Wine Cellar take, it actually managed to get 2 3 kills on the back of it. This one that we're talking about, Dark, by the way, beautiful double kill to come through. Unfortunately, not able to confirm them. Could have made the difference here.
I think you're looking at one of those 2 players being picked up as the cover, whether that would have changed the pace of applying themselves towards the kill itself, the reveal as well of the rotation going through. It's always that second of activation. When do you think is the best time to go for it? 4-0, Bliss. Taking that round after the tag timeout of their opponents will fill them with a lot of confidence. They know they've still got to try and put that distance in. They know Fury are very good at attacking this map.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, they are. And that is something that, you know, is still looming over this game. There's 2 sides to the game of Siege. However, Bliss, they're definitely stepping this up big time here. 4 rounds on the board. Not much that Fury have been able to do about it. I think that round might have been the closest that they've really been able to get, but it was only in the back of Dark finding that 2-kill out there as the attempt was being made. Now, Oda's playing around with the Kali. This is an operator that we do not see often, due to the fact that, of course, fire rate is king, especially on land. One-shot hatshot thing, you know? Having the big sniper rifle.
Oh.
Of course, if you do hit the shot, it's an instant down. If you miss the shot, you might just get sprayed back at. So, that's something to keep in mind.
Brendo is the first to find an engagement on Trophy Window. The player on the Solarium stairs, I mean, it's a common bit of pressure. They're going to keep themselves up. Might have something to try and steal grenades, some discs ciphered and popped around here that smash back and forth. The C4 does find Fisho, but instantly traded out. Didn't really need to swing for that engagement, and because of that, they don't get to sort of pressure that man advantage.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the reason behind it was. Maybe it was just you know, I'm being pressured from there, I need to do something. Or you feel a bit like stuck when there's people on the rappel and there's people holding off your staircase. Like you are playing in a do or die position, quite literally. But could have wasted maybe a bit more time there, Crit Jade. It goes like Colas. E1D pops off, so do concussions. BG Man looking to take a fight onto the balcony though, but in the meantime they're entering Solarium, and that means the plant might be on soon.
I mean, they have eyes directly towards the side. Sage and the Kid of Brendo are in. Dark round the back might be the big problem at the minute. BG Man does get Oda. Double window watch. I'm sort of waiting for Dark to activate, but he's cut off. Brendo has the lockdown and can now go for the plant himself. Leaving just I9. He swings wide towards the half wall. The single player in that post-plant situation cut in half. And this map has almost been perfectly cut in half. They have 5 in a row, eyeing up a 6th, the flawless. And you're still sort of looking at these little moments from Fury where they're just not connected towards the game that is coming either ahead of them or what their teammates are doing.
It's just they're a step behind on Bliss right now. Bliss doing everything perfectly. Spot the opportunity. They start repelling in. They then play themselves in like a 2v1 situation. Like they're isolating those gunfights and they're making sure there's always someone there to trade. Sure, you might lose some of them, but you're still able to come out on top at the end of them. And that's basically how every single round has gone so far. They're always having a man advantage unless they lose that early entry. But even if they do, it's quickly turned back around because of a Fury member overstepping or, you know, just being in the right position to instantly strike back. So definitely Bliss doing well here. And after how we saw Fury play against NIP yesterday, I was pretty convinced that we're going to show a pretty good game against Bliss here on Chile. So far, we've seen none of that from yesterday.
10 seconds to insertion.
5-0, and now we'll start to get that sense play that was sort of talked about at the very beginning, but wasn't actually brought to actualization. I'm hoping it's the one with the little drone hole just behind the A chassis.
Yeah, should be.
Where you can sort of get the roll through of the light wall.
The roly-poly.
Roly-poly. There it is. Look at this. So, Fisher guys right next to a drone hole that cuts right across the map. If they can get this covered in time. No util to stop it. I don't know if the hatch is locked or open. They'll sort of pop that wall. Open. Okay, so they don't have the full check, but there's nobody close enough to immediately swing on the back of it. Fisher does get a shake of damage on the upside down rappel. He is obviously the lead on that take and is the man with the kit. He's hoping they just dip back in for this engagement, but not as of yet.
Well, you do have the grit look out there, so you have the opportunity to just throw a bunch of track stingers over that hatch. Make sure they cannot really use it safely. I was saying, actually being thrown in there, 2 of them. Legion Man will be able to shut one down as caught by the Magnum, but the other one will deploy out there. So you do see currently that the opportunity to use that hatch to stop this plan from happening, that's being denied. But the Azami below, indeed, with the Kibas blocking off the doorway, is going to be causing a bit of a slow on the process here.
Actually, does it might just destroy a gridlock track stinger, or does it just move it?
I think it just moves it.
There you go, so it still deploys.
And then they shot it afterwards.
They got the one that they shot.
Yeah.
Smash it onto the Kiba barricades. Crit J's had to go back towards the top end. 1:30, and everybody's still standing. There's the first roll of the light roll, maybe to bait out a C4. There's the smoke cover through that drone hole, and the Maverick to make sure that anyone on prep will get caught. The attention towards the Warden. I9 is the power player right now. He has everything to do, and the glass is to look through it, but he's looking the wrong way.
Because of this.
Because he has to be aware of this fight. He's hoping to catch this and then swing over to his left-hand side. However, nobody's moved behind the utility yet, so we've seen at least 2 smokes in the sense wall, not have anything back behind. Another one rolls through. The grenade is trying to force I9 out of that location. Gets one, gets at least Dark back. Now I9 can focus on the plant, but they just swing in. Sage tears them through. The site is theirs, but otherwise, Bliss had for a second moved up towards the top. They drop their way back down as Crit J gets Sage out, and with 40 seconds, Oda able to get one back. It's a 3 versus 2 versus 1. Lycolis, he doesn't know they're behind him. Fisher guy's going for the rotate round. He pulls himself out back towards the window itself. It's 30 seconds, turning into a fight. They have the ping on the player. They want to go for 2 stories. Maybe the drop of the hatch at the same second. Lycolis gets himself a little bit safer with the C4 in pocket. He can kind of long arm this, and that's what he's opening himself an angle up for, but he's caught.
Hatch.
A flawless half for OCE.
Beautifully played out there, and I was actually going to call it right after you were done with your point, but like you saw the Weatables move up, open up the little gap in between. It's something we saw when Chalet just was brought out, where if you open up the hatch from the staircase towards Snowmobile, the wall, the player that's playing inside the stock basically doesn't feel safe anymore because they can just be shot at any moment there. And if your goal, when you're playing that supply, is to stop the gaming window to be jumped from, you're just receiving too much pressure there. It's like a 180 angle that you need to hold on to, and eventually, I mean, you might get one, but instantly trade it out afterwards. So, well done by Bliss. Really showing up and only needing an extra round, a single round, finding themselves with a 7-0 victory. And they have 6 opportunities to lock up this first map. And it doesn't matter if it's a 7-0 or an 8-7 victory, as long as you take that map. No more round differential that gets taken into account for anything here. Of course, they would prefer 7-0.
I mean,
just go on to the next map.
It wouldn't even be the first of playoffs as well.
No, it wouldn't be the first.
We had VP, 7-0, NIP yesterday, which is that sort of continued story here from Furious. I guess both those teams might be cursed to then get a follow-up 7-0 in the engagement afterwards. So NIP, because of where they got their win against Fury, are at least a step ahead in the lower bracket. Bliss. I mean, what a perfect start this would be. It's their map. It's still a good Fury map. And on the second, when you're heading into border, where it's a lot of interconnected gunfights that stretch the whole way across, that is exactly what Bliss have done so well on their attack.
Basically, the way that they've been playing, it leans itself really well to border later on, and currently doing some massive work as well on the side of Chalet. 6-0, just that single round. And Fury, there must be a lot of pressure on them now because they probably went into this being happy to leave this open, surprised that it was picked against them. And now no longer really surprised because they're 6-0 behind and realized, there might have been more at play here than we realized. Droning going on though, a lot of information being gathered as they are taking the library under control. There is hatches though that have been reinforced, so gonna have to use Heart Breach. That means the can openers from Lycolis to open up those hatches and put up the pressure onto the direct side.
We will get first blood in this situation. They're stowing and slowing their way here across rafters. The focus paid cautiously towards Oda, who will be that first point of contact. Now, Oda has not had a good tournament, but what a time to find his siege feat here. Gets Crit J, gets an opening body, keeps himself a step ahead and has dropped himself a step behind, back towards the site itself. Remember where it is and what has been wrested and handed in control. What has been taken out of it without the Jackal. Crit J does not have the control over the roam itself. It can very easily strike and retake Dark. Unable to get himself into the engagement of this game as well as he has before, but I9 has at least found a steady body balance. Keep tacking onto his own. BG Man suffers the swing on the second. They're inside the site. The Bees are forcing the fight on the player, but Oda still gets one out. BG Man and Oda round on the back. Fisho and Sage, and there it is. Bliss are living in it. A flawless opening map on theirs. A 7-0.
Wow. Just nice. They really just made short work of Fury here. And after an incredible performance yesterday from Fury against NIP, Bliss just show up and make that look like it's nothing. 7-0. How do you bounce back from that? Because again, I'm pretty convinced Fury would have thought, oh, we are happy to be going to this map. We were happy to have that. So that's a double big hit coming down on the side of Fury. They've lost the map that they were doing so well on yesterday. Now headed towards border where they did a little bit less than yesterday.
Well, we're going to a quick break. We're back with Border.
Falcons, less than 2 on average per round, and that gives you the idea of just how dominant Liquid have been across these first 5. Now into the final 1.5. Interesting thought to bring along the sledge here. I'm guessing they want the nades on side to get rid of any potential shields or something, but I'm not really seeing anything on the side of Liquid that you'd use other than trying to make the defenders move away because you're lacking things like the Grim in this round. You know, very low pick rate for Sledge ever since we've had that nade nerf. I think really what you're looking at instead now is more towards the Buck, who has been incredibly strong throughout this tournament. In fact, as of the end of groups, I believe he was the most picked attacker throughout the entire competition.
Fox has got himself all the way down in basement once again. We've seen the impact of the sort of lack of ability to drone him. 4 left on the side of Falcons, so they are going to be starved of information. No Bravas, no Twitch. They will have some availability, I guess, for, you know, they can check the odd corner here and there with the Rotero should they not need them for utility, but it's not going to be ideal for them. However, what will be ideal is Kills and P9 picking up a couple of kills, taking down Neskin Palu to kick off the round.
And that's the dream start for them as well. The first round we've seen them really have this level of dominance in the early round. It may just give them that 1 round grace that you really want going into the second half. Otherwise, otherwise you're staring down at match point basically the entirety of that second half, and that is not a good position to be in. What's really going to show their kind of like grit here, I think, is knowing that you're 5v3 up. Can you slow things down? Can you reassess the situation? Can you push forward as a team and not get caught in constant 1v1s? And that feels like that's what Resets is after. Volps has already found one on Jalad. Almost a second. P9. Oh, Lagona's getting him in the last bullet there, down to a 3v3. And instead of really wanting to see them hold on here, but the retake of the top floor coming out from Liquid has been sublime with 2 kills coming back their way.
That's it. You feel like maybe Falcons have made a little less progress than it appeared, and that they were playing into a game plan that was laid out by Liquid. They're going to keep holding on to those vertical angles for the time being. Volps is very low health at the minute. Palu from beyond the grave with that Capcan trap, and it's all of a sudden all up to Quib. Zingo the Candelas, he's just trying to find kills at this point, anything he can. Almost catches out the R6.
Oh my.
Maybe a bit of a gunfight coming in there. Does eventually get it done, but it doesn't matter because the call is there. Volts with the impact nade from underneath, and that's going to be the round for Liquid. A 6-0 half against Falcons.
Well, I did say it would really come down to a measure of their grit as to whether or not they could hold on for a 5v3 and turn it into a round win, but it proves that too much, even that's too much of an ask, I guess. Liquid, though, I'll give it full credit to them. Great retake of the top floor, and it's almost like the initial 2 kills never really came through because Liquid suddenly with the one staring down through the ceiling onto site itself and going, well, you can't plant, now you got to come and retake the top floor, and they just forced that out of the other side excellently. So really good stuff from Liquid, up 6-0. And I always say there are 2 halves to the game of Siege, Tim, but I feel like there's just a little bit of difference here between these 2 teams that goes beyond what side you're on.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much there will be 2 halves of this one. The defense, of course, could be a turning point for Falcons. They've already had their tactical timeout, so there's no more work that can be done by Twister, the coach. And this is always a problem to me. If you look at a team like Team Liquid with the big names they've got, and they are laughing, joking, and just quite happy in the game, I feel like you're in big trouble at that point.
I think the best thing about this is look into that next series. That we all came into this expecting Liquid. Everyone at home did think it was, what, 93% to Liquid or something crazy. We're all expecting that it's Liquid that go on to play against G2 in that next game. And we've seen teams at tournaments historically where they don't play an earlier game, get caught out by teams that are coming in hot. They've already played that day. They're already at that level where they know what their energy is. They've sorted out issues in that first matchup they've had. And the team they're coming up against who's a bit kind of fresh of the day, they're coming in cold, they can get caught for a few rounds at the start. And that can often often be the difference maker in map 1 to give that team that's coming in hot that small advantage. I'm not at all saying that I think Liquid will walk in and just walk over G2, far from, but I mean, this is a good way to start the round out immediately as Volp's just inside at 30 seconds. This pacing thing will be what the real definer is for me between these guys and G2 later, by the way. Of course, if it comes around to Liquid being the team to face them, it will be that game of pace.
Again, Liquid picking up that entry, 6-1 on the entry now. Volps has had 3 of them himself, and is just proving phenomenal in the early rounds. Now, I'm also interested. I don't think we've had it yet, and I don't want to... I'll wait until we finish. I'll wait until we finish. I don't want to be cast a curse in anything. I'll wait.
I think you do want to cast a curse at Tim. Go on. What is it?
I don't think we've had somebody survive a map with 0 deaths yet for Freshers Bingo card.
You think Lagonis is onto it?
Certainly could be. He's on the Monty.
Is that actually a bingo card entry?
Yes, and it's 5 versus 4. Lagonis is on the Monty, so we'll see what happens. Certainly one to keep an eye on. Resets is going to be working his way to try and join the attack in rear stage. Kills needs to be careful here. He's maybe in a little bit more danger than he realises. He is on the Warden, so has the opportunity, of course, to avoid any utility like flashes that come in towards him. But there's not too much of that, if any, actually, on the side of... Liquid. They've only got the smokes for Palu, no Candelas. They do have the bees of Volps, but just taking the time over this one, I must say.
It's a very controlling comp, right? You see the Capitan, you see the Grim. Together, they will force defenders to move away with the fire and the bees, but also gives you a lot of agency on the plant itself. Nesk was not expected to get swung like that by Valentino. Obviously doesn't find himself a kill just yet. I mean, Nesk himself was at a quiet few days in this tournament. Not quite the player that we all think of when we think of Nesk, and I'm sure as the competition wears on, you may see that change. But here he comes, finds one for himself.
What were you saying, Des?
Drops a dunk on it.
Absolutely. I think he might have heard you. Not quite that player as he drops a 180 down the hatch and slams the man playing
it's more the level we've seen, like, again,
no, I totally agree.
It's been a quiet tournament for him so far.
We're going to see him taken down there. Volps does manage to get quibs, and we've still got Lagonis alive on the Monty. That's going to be big in this 2 versus 4 situation. P9 trying to work in behind that broken mirror. Lagonis is going to be going for the plant here. The cover is in place. They know where he is. Pick him up from the rotate. This is looking bad for Falcons. Volps with a double closes it out, and that is going to be Oregon wrapped up in quick, smart time. Lagonis with 0 deaths tells somewhat of a story of just how dominant Liquid were in that one.
Volps, especially for me, the player that I really want to celebrate. I know I wanted to see him in the second half on the attacking side and see if they'd fix those errors that they were making against Easy yesterday, but not really any chance to do so, to be honest with you. Just an absolute clean sweep for the whole team. Volps going 13-2 on the defense. Really can't stress how good of a confidence builder this will be ahead of playing against G2, assuming they take map 2.
Yeah, it's been quite the performance from them, and G2, I'm sure, will be looking on. I don't think G2 are scared of anybody this tournament, but I'm sure they'll be watching this one with interest.
Well, we certainly will be, that's for sure. For now, though, we'll go to a quick break. When we come back, the desk will break it down for you. See you in a few.
Whoa, that was fast. A 7-0 decimation here on the icy cool cold of Chalet. Bliss. I mean, it was their map, and yeah, it was their map. Fury were just brushed aside, and unfortunately, one of the weakest performances this team has been able to put in. So you hope they'll have a hell of a team talk for map 2.
Yeah, and again, they probably went into the map after the performance yesterday thinking, oh, we got this in the bag. They did not.
No. The bag, somewhere else.
The bag's been gotten by Bliss.
The bag, picked up, taken. Again, we saw players from the side of Bliss. They played some of the best that they've played. Oda especially, as I sort of said before, he was very quiet throughout the first stage of this tournament. He was very quiet and unable to sort of get into a game that he loved piecing in. Here, positive for one of the first times and really set a pace. But Brendo 12-3, I mean, everything you want from an Ashe player.
Yeah, for sure. Bringing the entry back to the entry indeed, and just finding, well, not the first kills, but opening up the opportunity on the actual site. Like double, triple kills coming through almost consistently out there and really opening up the opportunity. But more importantly, the entire playstyle of Bliss leans really well into border, I think.
This is that sort of moment as well, because obviously before this game and the game on the other stream, there was 1-7-0 in playoffs. Now there are 3. The game on the other stream was also a 7-0. We're sort of having a flip, reverse it, Missy Elliott style of what we had of the games yesterday, where everything was full, long, drawn-out series. And they try and bite back here. Fury are capable. They've shown it. They've proven it. Last time these two teams met, it went all 3 series as well about a year ago. Over. There's a bit of a swing round, though, in the predictions. Bliss have stacked themselves a little bit higher in the favoritism.
Now, Bliss have only played border once, and they managed to, well, lose it against Space Station, but it was a 6-8 loss, so very close. And Space Station have been doing very well. I know, they've managed to lose it.
They managed to lose it. Congratulations.
But they could have won it.
Congratulations, you've lost.
Fury played twice, won once, lost once. They lost it against Sonics 3-7. And they won it against Falcons 7-5, so that was also a very close game. Especially if you were watching the A stream just now as well and saw how Falcons just performed on their map.
Twitch ban from Bliss. They, for my money, played her amazingly last time, and Fury just didn't have an awareness of it. Yeah, it's a little bit more of a narrow map here. You're probably more likely to get that spotted out, and maybe they fear the game of Fury, which you can do, but also when you play it as well, and most notably as free, as I said at one point, it looked like they were just dry running utility clear. Okay, fair enough. You guys are the team that's running into this. It is their map as well, so maybe you know something, you expect something, and you want to kind of take their expectations and throw them just a little bit and then punish them. Opening up on their defense here, an armory.
They're again banning the exact same operators as they have throughout the entire tournament.
Yep. Keeps it consistent.
Yeah, nicely and consistent. Just feeling confident to play against the lack of logic bombs to come through, the lack of upgrade cams that you have to hunt down. Just things a bit more oversight for them. But it does allow other operators to come through.
That's true.
Are quite powerful in this current meta.
All right, Fury, all eyes are on you right now, because when you open up your attacks on the first and the second map yesterday against NIP, they were very sharp. And they were, by some description, pocket plays, the Oster Shield drive across the 2 is something that, well, you've actually always gotten a good handle on, getting the engagement on that opening lead-in, even though the opening kill statistic is one that I think that they are the lowest rated team still in the tournament. However, one of the better teams for pulling back 4 versus 5. I want to see try and get themselves off to a better start, that mental game, on where this first round goes, if it is away from them, regardless of the fact that they are on attack here. Could be a bit of a deciding factor because, as I said, it's not a reliance for them, but it's a consistency of them.
There you go. It's an FNAC gone. Easily destroyed. It's not going to do anything. And that
It was closed.
It was close, yeah. And that's going to be given the opportunity for the attacker to actually walk in quite close there and take the fight towards CCTV in a bit more of a convincing fashion. Not having to worry. Actually, one shot out from underneath.
Ooh.
Agent trying to put up some pressure down onto the buck, but Lacote is able to escape with no damage whatsoever.
They have the ping. The read on the break player. They're just going to try and get the wall open, but with that mute jammer, it's not going to get very far, and at that F dot, it means that they're not going to get very far. The open space is locked in. Fisher's happy to sit and rest as the keeper barricades give him some extra support. They're just trying to find the side of a player, but Brendo continues the role he had on the previous map. BG Man is gone. Anything they've already stolen is at least going to stay theirs, but he's trying to find this route through against these power position players, and you can sort of see Fury. They're weighing up several different options, but none of them are netting a clean route. Sage, his territory is getting thinner and thinner, but the impact tricks against it. Perfectly played and placed. No more Selmas. And, well, no more fish.
Dark still playing around on the door. However, Lycola's finding wettables, and suddenly Bliss all start falling apart out here. It's only up to Brendo, still around in the break room here, to try and defend this round for Bliss and make it 8 in a row. It's looking very unlikely now, though, but still. Execute only now going down, or the planned attempt rather. Dark will go down in the meantime. They are about to be swinging onto the balcony. A bit of damage done to Brendo, but nothing that is going to be putting him out of the game yet. It's just going to be very difficult for him to take all these fights, especially with the player that's thrown underneath 90. Crit J locks it off, and Fury able to win that round.
Win a round.
Win a round.
They break the deadlock
That's
of
true.
not having anything on the first map here. Fury and... What happened, analyst boy?
Well, I think that first of all, what we saw was a bit of too much aggression coming around near the break room. You lost one of the players out there, but they weren't really present for the majority of that execute out there. So you see Brendo trying to rotate back through, and I think what just happened there is they just found the entry that was necessary and managed to punish the players as they were trying to retake the ground.
Okay.
It all just fell apart real quick there.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm trying to get the pieces together, because obviously we saw the waste of utility, we saw the dump against it, we saw Bliss still holding power positions. They had at least 1 or 2 players around the side itself. They had the 2 that were in break, and then they had the 1 that was Sage that was locked on the little hop rotate wall that was, well, locked on in a great position there. And Fury suddenly scream up long corridor, able to swing around either side on towards that solo player, get the takes on towards the site, and then
10 seconds left.
getting a kit down out of seemingly nothing. Bliss was shaken away.
5 seconds left.
But first round and getting your head back on towards it. They rotate round towards the toilet itself. Although, as it's cited many times, we're in a big defender drive in this SI so far. It is still border. It does still reward good bouts and bits of aggression, good swings around.
Yeah, that's for sure. As they're opening up towards detention now, there's of course a claw out there. You need to find a way to destroy that. Either send the Brava in from one of the drone holes, or you need an explosive from Dark to bounce off at the right moment. As soon as you throw one in, though, that nitro cell's coming right back at you, so make sure you choose the right option there. And it feels like they've just decided to not open up detention, that it's going to be too much of a waste of utility. And guess, you might come and open it up at some point, but not at this moment in time.
Sage holding on to 90 for now, and Dark might be the fight that comes down. The long screen that happened before. They've stolen the camera just behind him. So he knows he's at least a little bit safe from this side, and that gives them a great watch on the rotation potential up the stair set. It is a nice little bit of crime done.
Lost my explosive!
By the drone. Back end as well. They're going to see if they can Try and reconvene. As I said, it was a little bit of a sudden smash and grab before, but they're still looking for a first pick. Sage is alone. Wet is underneath. And could play a C4 up to buy them a second to support here, but you want to make sure that you have the impact of that impact in the right second. BG Man, twice in a row. The first player gone. First body removed. Ability that, yeah, okay, you can probably get most of it done, but BG Man himself has been a huge player for Fury throughout this tournament. A big drive on the match, the games that they lost. They were second seed in their group, only dropping one fight. Then things have really drifted a bit away from them.
Yeah, losing a player that early on, that needs to be impactful for your team to perform well. It was a bit of a pain, of course, and hopefully you still have the other 4 that could pick up. But Brando shutting down Dark. Going to be turning things a bit more into the scales of Bliss here, as they are looking to, you know, continue on defending off this this execute to come through. Not really like any pressures coming down from Fury on the side now. It's more so around the custom side. As Oda and Sage and both find a kill themselves, it's only up to I9 now, still playing around with the RC Roteros, opening up opportunities for himself. But the diffuser has been dropped upstairs. He's about to be swung. This might be a flawless half to come through.
What a perfect response it would be. I9 in a little bit of a firing line. There's a rotate that's coming around above him, but remember the cameras were stolen before. Does down Brendo.
15 seconds.
Cannot find the end of him, and Sage from the top rope locks him off. Flawless response to a first round loss. Bliss, they get one. They make sure that Fury aren't allowed to buy any momentum.
Yeah, important. Especially after that 7-0. You want to continue that as well. You don't want to give too much hope towards Fury that they can get back into the series. And again, Bliss, you know, they were very well known in this tournament for bringing it to a max regulation or towards overtime in the majority of their games. 7-0 was definitely a big change of pace for them. Now they need to build on it. Because if they win this, long day ahead. Still have to play another elimination game. By the way, this point onward, it's only elimination games going through for Bliss in this lower bracket. Same would go for Fury. So everything will count. And right now, as we are headed towards ventilation and workshop, one of the most defender sites actually on this map of the tournament.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Let's see how Fury wants to attack it. But, well, the most successful takes we've seen on this site so far is when they just try and go for a sneaky plant aside of ventilation when the cover isn't right there. But I believe that we do have goo mines set up in that area. I mean, Fisho is currently playing around there, so surely there's something set up to be an early alarm system if that happens.
One apiece, Fury. You've got to keep this game sort of pressed to the metal at this point and see if you can make it yours. The statement piece came around in the opening map was very loud from here. With Brendo wanting to step into the engagement before it even really begins, they're going to make sure that they can kind of keep you cautious, unaware of the positions and punish the game that was punished so well previously. However, Dark has the drop from the top, rocked, ready. On the swing onto square. Otherwise pulled away. A bit of a run out, and Lycolas gets punished. Fisho guy gets the take. That was from the bottom of detention. Just went out the breach themselves, got the repelling player.
It's painful losing out the heart breach like that as well. It's definitely going to be an impact later on, especially if you still had ambitions in taking Armory for this round. But Jay now trying to retake on the repel, see if he can put up any pressure. Brendo aware of this. He's going to go for it. Finds the second one. But Jay shut down as well. That's your soft breach gone now. And that's going to be leaving it into a bunch of guns that just have to try and brute force themselves through the side if they want to get a plant and a victory down.
5 versus 3. A bit of silence, a bit of caution. Falls across the fight itself. Just getting the keeper barricades replaced, and well, that is that frustrating thing right now for Dark. He's trying to jump in against a fight that is forever changing. Brendo's got the long watch down underneath towards the seating gallery. Ready? Waiting to pounce seems to be the path of the course here so far. You've got Bliss stepping into these engagements. As I said at the very beginning, they're making sure that where is uncomfortable for Fury keeps changing. Fury has to keep rechecking. Wet is feeding all of this intel on the break room based approach here, as I9 has found himself inside the office towards at least the verticality of the site itself, but they still have to put pressure towards the plant.
1-1, and indeed, as you mentioned, the pressure of the plant needs to go through. However, there's nothing really that they have currently in the sides of Fury. They are trying to take that top floor under control, but all that really gives you is a hatch drop. And you still have the pulse out there from Wedables, who's spotting out on some of these players and giving away the information of where the rotate is going to be coming from. And as Dark is coming in from the flank right now, he's hoping to make something happen to at least fight him back an opportunity into the round, but he misses the opportunity. He's trying to go for a bit of a wallbang game right now with the player on the opposite side, but Brenda comes in for the support, shuts him down, leaves it only up to I9 and BG Men now. Oda trying to go for the fight, but Wedables is actually the first one to find that kill. And with 10 seconds left on the clock, the Flawless is going to be fended off by BG Men, but it's not going to be much more than that as he's shut down by Wedables coming up across from the bottom of the metal stairs. And Bliss, 2 very dominant rounds in a row right now. That could have been a double Flawless.
2 in a row here, Fury. If it's 3, you do wonder if we will see a timeout once again. It is a little bit do or die right now. Every single round seems to be a fight, sure, at least for now, but you can tell Bliss have the trigger pulled. They have this ready in the bank. They know what to expect from this fight. They're in good spirits, and it's the conversation we've had about this host roster the entire time. They're on the precipice of that greatness. The sort of step before starting to set themselves up and off. And here, I mean, this is maybe some of that coming to fruition here. All 5 of them finding the steps into this fight. All 5 of them are really getting into their element.
I mean, it says enough that they've been able to challenge like some of the bigger teams, you can almost say, and bring them to overtime or to max regulation in almost every given round. It really shows you that they are just a little bit away from being able to turn some of those maps around and suddenly find themselves upsetting those big teams. And maybe a game like against Fury right now, where they, you know, have the opportunity to just work out those, well, potential nerves that could be there when you need to close out maps, could be beneficial as they go on later against one of the, well, more favorite teams.
Fury. Once again, a slow and steady approach. They want to try and get a clean take onto a single player, and one of the missing tricks, the missing moments here, whether it's because of the pressure of the game or the opponents they're up against, is a confidence. It's otherwise, I mean, been a huge boon for them of stepping in, especially from players like Dark, like BG Man, to just get into these engagements. Here, they're almost too cautious. They're worried that if the first isn't taken by them cleanly, then it won't be worth taking at all. There it is. The crossfire with I9 getting Sage. Buck doing some damage underneath. Suffers to the back end of a C4, but not entirely. However, it's Crit J that gets caught by 1. Oda gets the trade out. With Wet getting stung fish. Swings onto BG Man. Free to just put that pressure as the Grim Bees come in a little bit too late.
Eva Barrier used there to block up the line of sight of Dark, knowing that there's still someone around on the balcony there that's trying to challenge out those players. I9 now heading as well towards the top of square, seeing if he can challenge the break room, possibly, because we find ourselves back in a 3-on-3 situation. However, HP advantage does go to the side of Bliss. Now, doesn't have to mean a lot, but especially with the utility still out there, an impact could just as well be the end of the life of I9 if that hits directly. So, gotta keep that in mind as he's about to be swung out there by the Azami.
Brendo holding down in a fortress made of Keeper barricades and paces like Olis as the Buck. On the defaults, they'll know where he is, but he's still just going to shepherd positions. However, with where the site has got itself located, you only really have about 20 seconds of this. I don't think any pressure's been put on it as of yet. Back towards Brendo. Even with the attempt at shepherding from the Buck of positions, they just sort of hoped and trusted.
Ooh.
He'd moved out and left it. Fish free to splash around in the fountain. Get their fins out. I9 left alone, a 1 versus not even. Brendo locks it out, and as I said, I would not be surprised if we get a timeout.
Has to be a timeout coming out from now, because it is just first round, good round from Fury. Like, nothing else to be said about it. All the others, not on the board. And it's painful to watch because we've seen what Fury can do yesterday when they upset NIP, managed to find that huge map, almost able to lock it off in a 2-0, and after that it all went south. Also, it's a shame BG Men being caught up there. I mean, he probably didn't expect someone to swing aggressively. Like Cola sat there, he was just getting his feet removed from underneath him, like bullet by bullet. I like the concentration on Bliss's faces. Like you have like a single person shouting like "Let's go," or "Yeah," as it was here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But the rest is super concentrated, just knowing that they still have to continue onwards and try and make the best out of this half on the defense. Again, knowing that their attacking style that we've seen on Chalet should be very beneficial for them on this map. Should be leaning really well into their capabilities.
I'm still missing that confidence here from Fury. And Border, you don't want to harp on about how maps handle against sort of confidence team, because you always need your entry to feel themselves and get their energy and sort of go, yeah, I can win this engagement. I've got every engagement here. Here it's just been missing. Everything has to feel like it's taking an extra step for a team that has just played that pacey game brilliantly up to this point. And again, it could be a million different things. Pressure of this being the game that sends them home. The first time this team has felt that pressure at this tournament is obviously they performed so well in groups that they weren't one of the sort of do or die teams on the final day that we had many teams of. It just creates that little bit of doubt. Bliss, they've had a day to prepare for this. They've had a day to sort of go, yeah, we lose this game, we're gone. It really sets your mental up.
Oh, Brendo just being spotted out by the drone there and deciding to just stay on the spot that he's in before. BG Man prone as it got hit a little bit.
Whoa.
Brendo able to fire the opportunity. Dar goes down eventually as he leans back into the fight. A slight mistake, maybe a bit of greed coming through, but Brendo able to lock that one off is huge.
I mean, it's just a weird way to go down. Crit J strikes against Sage on the back end of the Eastern Stairs. They have some rested controller break, but with Oda getting BG Man and I9 getting the punish on Brendo, it is just a little bit of a back and forth that seems to be screaming across anywhere on this top floor for now. Oda. He should get the drop. Crit J can't quite get the finish. The player will get picked back up. However, he is only one little bit of damage away from death at this point. All of them circled inside the site. There is a lot of structure still to clear, and you wonder how long it'll take Fury to sort of go, okay, we're good to make our motion in at this point. They always rotate their way back around. They get a little bit of width as we see Fish head his way towards Workshop on the back end, watching the other hatch drop. Gives him that long range towards either of the hatch takes. They seem to be eyeing up the stair set itself. Lycolis isn't too far away with the kit, but 30 seconds. Again, this caution, this double checking, this nature of, look, we need to make sure that this strikes. Is it finally a bit of strength this team can pull from?
The drone the opposite side of the side. The drone tell us. It seems like they're going for a bathroom take instead. Crit J goes in, like Holus as well. Plans going through in now. Crit J, as he's taking the cam, forgets that he actually needs to cover. The air jab will actually shut down Wettables, bringing it back to a 2-on-2 situation. As Lycolis will find the one that was coming close towards the actual diffuser. It's only up to Oda now. He went low before, he went down before. He knows where the diffuser is, but he's not in the right position. Well, he was in the right position, but a little bit too late. He finds himself in that 1v2, and well, taking this fight is just going to mean the end of him. As Lycolis is opening up, and Oda now realizing that the only real option he has is to just go for the defuse and hope that they realize it might be a fake, but the flashbang blinds him out, and I9 shuts him down. Fury find their second round.
Just before the turn of the half as well, which means they've got one more opportunity here. Really just before the turn of the half to make it an even one as well. If they can start to click back into gear, suddenly a 3-3 isn't as sort of depressing as being on the back end of the 4-2, or even worse, the 5-1 that it looked like it might be hurtling towards. It was close. I think at that point, obviously, for the aggression that's led Bliss very, very well in the lead in here, they peeled themselves back. They had the expectation that they wouldn't just go for the sort of hatch drop plant itself. They'd rotated all the way in towards Workshop.
Yeah.
They'd sort of left a bit of space and tried a retake, but yeah, jabs with the lock. That little pocket of space, that is where Fury have excelled for me, is they didn't need to take everything to make that work. You never always, you never do every single time.
No.
They can reclaim some of that energy here for their last attack. They can set themselves up to maybe eye up that third map. But I think Bliss, they're still the ones in a bit of the driving seat.
They are. They definitely are. And, they're headed towards the attack soon as well. And again, the map is paper thin. Just not sure what I'm going to be expecting from Fury out here when they are going up against them. That make this round so important, because if they are able to bring this back to a 3-on-3 split, then there is that extra bit of a buffer. It's the difference of 2, really, that you just nullify by getting this single round. And as you see, Fury slowly walking around the building here, trying to get themselves with some information. J out with the skeleton key as well. Aware of the fact that there might be someone out here, blinded by the FNAT, is placed in the windows, in opposition to place it. Quickly destroyed as well, but Brando will fall back. They're not going to try and hold on to CCTV. Of course, not the site necessary. BG will find Fisho, who went for a run out, probably trying to get anybody that might have been on the rappel out there. And that means the entry is going to be there for Fury, an important one that they now need to manipulate into a round win. Squid J's waiting up onto the armory wall. Probably just waiting for his teammates here to go aggressive like Colas will find Sage. So, with that, a double entry now for the side of Fury. And they're getting close. The drone will split out Oda as well. He's going to be the next in the chopping block, so he needs to make sure that he gets himself into a safe position. He's being pushed from 2 different sides at the same time. Wonderballs goes down, so does Oda, and suddenly a flawless round from Fury to lock it off and bring us to 3-3.
Okay, Fury. Suddenly, we get that really sort of good taste of why you are in this playoff sort of area, not this position specifically. And we also get an idea of the first 2 maps that you had against NIP yesterday. Can they keep it going? I still have that worry here, because both teams still have their timeout. They did not call it. They have that as an option if things go away from them here, Fury. They're onto their defense. Bliss, their attacks, obviously, on the previous map, yeah, they were pretty good. They were as good as they could possibly be. You had the flawless half, and that is still a present thing. Fury have to try and find some of that connection and their defense on their motions here in the second half.
And of course, it went quite, as you mentioned, steady, like 6-0 coming through, but it wasn't just a 6-0 and it was only close rounds. No, we were 1 or 2 close rounds, but the rest, complete blowouts from the side of Bliss. And if they can just get back into like 80% of that, 70% of that, I'm pretty certain that they are going to be able to lock off this map and bring this home in a 2-0 fashion. And of course, that isn't the end of their day, because they still have to play another match after that. You just wanna make it that one step further in the tournament and then worry what's up afterwards.
Fury starting to swell into a game here. I9 has been really the only Tour de Force performer of the day, and with the experience that he has, it makes sense. Brendo with a quick break underneath. There's a little bit of a dabble externally. But who is going to get this first engagement? How clean can it be? How much confidence is still on the back? Dark is currently dancing around the side of Wet, who's just getting some pops underneath. Brendo has the long-range watch on the single player that's offering that support. They're going to see if they can, I guess, weigh up which one they want to go for the pinch on. Oda's watching the rotate. Sage might go for the flat fight here. Although it's Oda actually offering that second swing. They're trying to bait them into it, because either side of that pillar is now watched. The pressure is on. Colas gets Oda caught out with the swing. I9, he's sort of happy to survive here for now with Crit J going for the run out onto Brendo above. Too much attention paid towards I9 here, and I said this is what we wanted from Fury. Ensuring they have some support. We don't want that, BG man. No killing of Dark, but at least you got to fight on the back end of it. However, this is a return to form here.
That might actually cost them the flawless as well. The back-to-back flawless, having a team kill out there. Sajin walks up and gets shut down. They have it, a team kill. Cost the flawless. And that's a very dominating round to come through. And I think Bliss just entering the building, but not really as a team. It was more so single, isolated fights happening all over the map. Some inside, some outside with jump outs coming through. And I think they need to have a little quick, bit of a quick chat with Bliss. Not as a timeout, but more as a, like, okay, let's just calm this down, right? Because that's 2 times now. Basically, the tables have turned. We cannot afford that. We need to make sure that they get back in instantly.
I'm kind of happy that we have a bit of a showdown.
Yeah, same.
With how the first map went, with how the fact that it was a 7-0, with how we've seen these teams perform throughout this tournament, there was the expectation that this could be a banger of a series, a banger of a match. Whenever you have not exactly the same regions, obviously, in the new meta, or in the new system, but similar regions, you want the best of the best to be the one that survives. You want the one that sort of takes the pressure and the mental of saying, okay, send back another 8-pack team.
10 seconds
But
left before insertion.
it was a fight, it was a brawl, it was a well-earned spot at the table. Everything you want from this, that
Attackers are
third
moving
map,
to defuse the
more and
bomb.
more convincing, especially if they start to play like that again and push this distance. Fury, that was the best round. I think they've really played all day on their defense. I mean, quite obviously, maybe even on both sides, just on how quick they were to react, but also on how they baited everything Bliss were doing very well on the first map. They played perfectly against it here.
I see some traces coming in. Brendo's going to be taking the peak there, accepting the challenge. The 1v1. Grid J is that keep a bear to play behind here, so you know, it's just a little pixel angle you're going to have to hit, Brendo. Be quite difficult, and also, you know, have people in break room that can provide some covers, so be careful out there. Is really quick push towards the armory here from the side of Bliss, realizing that it might be open, it might be cleared. So drones are starting to go through. That will confirm, like, hey, you can indeed move through. There's a lot of ground to be gained here.
Bit of caution coming through from the side of Bliss. They have the pings on the player that's on the back end of Office, and as the reveal starts to come towards BG Man, he's happy to sort of sit pretty. Takes the drop, the C4 though, and this is it. The call on the player position. Oda does find Dark. Make sure they do not have that man advantage for very long. Crit J still in that power place on the back end of everything, with Brendo wanting to see if he can try and meet and wrest control of the eastern stairs. In fact, he's going to hand it over, but he's got a fight on his shoulders. Drone doesn't get the reveal on him as he drops it. Second drone, well, that gets caught as well. Just pops up. Oda ready for the engagement, but not enough. The ping of the E1D's a second too late. They go wide. In on the window, he rebuilt himself a structure, wastes as much time, do or die, with BG Man offering some support. They get the take. They look for the second and almost get it. But again, the rotations here from Fury. I'm enjoying this idea of support they've got right now.
A lot of damage being dealt, though, to the remaining members of Fury. So Lycola's taking a bit of a scrap. BG Man, whilst he was falling back as well. Lycola's playing in an important position, though, as he's basically able to lock down the entirety of open area, or the lobby, however you want to call it, from the angle he's currently playing in. And the other 2 members in Fury, they're going to be making sure that there is no drop on the hatch that should be able to yield a plant. And he's being tossed in to get rid of that bulletproof camera. Lycola's now starting to come through as well. A small opening has been made by that grenade. Brendo, aware of the fact that he might be in there, goes off at the wrong angle, though. At the wrong time.
It's 20 seconds. 20 seconds, they have to make a move. Lycolis is in that big power position. He's got the rotate. Brendo's still not sure about it. He just has to hit the one connection as wet. Goes for the plant itself. BG Man, he's getting the rotate. He doesn't know. They win one of the downs, but get down themselves. Bliss! Keep it level. Keep it even. Keep it back and forth. Close as it could possibly be here, but importantly, it stops the momentum entirely flying into Fury's side.
Yeah, as I said, it's not a tactical timeout worthy yet when it was 2 near flawless rounds coming through, but you definitely need to have a bit of a calm down and make sure that you bring back that pace slightly, and exactly what they did here. Grid J, though, still very important, almost managing to catch those 2 kills at the back of that Kiba barrier he was playing behind. Could have changed around. But in the end, the opening onto the side, the plant going through, the cover just being there in time. Crucial.
Bliss fight back, but there is an excitement that is sort of being a bit missing here from the roster. Sure, all of them are getting in on these engagements. They do not have the confidence and the clarity that has otherwise been offered to them on Chalet. Before you sort of look at the rotations Fury were making, you were counting them on your fingers as to how successful they were and probably didn't need to go to a second hand. Here, positions that they're finding are little holes in Bliss's drone game. Little problems that I said many, many moons ago is where they'll find that level of success here. There's a growing hint of, oh, we can just go anywhere on this map. We can do anything with Fury. This is what we love to do.
Like the triple capcan on the door, you've just seen it being placed. Because the fact is, when you drone, you're going from east, you check 90, oh, it's clear, and you move on. So you don't really go through that doorway that often with your drones. So it's very much possible that those capcan traps will not be spotted out, and it might actually catch someone off. Because look at that. Okay, yeah, clear. No one there at the end of it. Brendo's just going to be holding out on it now, taking out the default game, especially if they manage to clear his army. That might just lean into a kill. Oh, never mind. It might just be the Bravo drone that just hacks them all.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
You only need to hack one, and all of them will explode when they run through it, but it seems like they've gone 6.
Yeah, I think they did indeed.
Remove them rather than play against all the charges itself because they want to pass through the door without exploding. They obviously stole the F-dot as well, so they can have more of a clean sweep and streak all the way up long itself. Pressure onto the back end of Office forces, well, nobody out of position. Nobody's currently playing it. They're trying to wrest control of the vertical. There is some of the stretch there as they swing slowly round. Sage is against the Kiba that he's got to smash. Crit J can buy himself a little bit more time. The flash is to an old position. Dark onto Fish. Brendo gets one back. And it's this sort of engagement game where 1 versus 1s are happening everywhere and nobody is quite clean enough across the board.
Definitely working to isolate the one player that's in sight. Oh, flashbang coming through. Brendo trying to lean into the fight. It's actually the double kill from Crit to come through.
Oh, either
Just
side.
down indeed.
Sage onto one window. Brendo onto the back of the swing at 90. They did not know about the position of the player. And now, Wet, he's finding himself having to recollect the pieces in a 2 versus 4 with Oda so far away for anything else to offer that support itself. He was the point man originally. But now, with everyone else gone, he's the man left with only really a point. Spraying against the position of the players, but great bit of rested control there. The flick round at 90s, there's at least one back. They'll hear that charge being placed. I'm not sure if it was an attempt to get the C4 back against it in time. Crit J suffers quite a lot as well. Oda, though, he's got to survive long enough to offer some support. There's only 30 seconds, locked out by beepers. Well, 1 versus 3, 20 seconds. Gifted 1 fight. Finds 2. Has barely any health and a smoke canister to his name and a chance to plant with I9. Holding on towards the door on the opposite end. That's the way they're going to go towards it. Close on the left here. How aware is he? He's checking it slowly and steadily. He's going to find the fight too late. Fury keep themselves just 1 step ahead.
I think he swapped over to like the super shorty as well. Probably expected him to be on the server stack. But it was almost a great comeback to come through to allow Bliss to go on. But Crit J, crucial inside of CCTV there, somehow not seen. They probably thought it was still playing around in the little like closet area where you have to rotation back towards 90. That's where the flashbangs came in from. That's where the people were watching to. Instead, he dug in all the way deep. Now a timeout will be called by the side of Bliss. Of course, things haven't really been going their way yet in this half, especially over the last 5 rounds if we start looking at it like that. Only a single one won by them. So they need to turn around that momentum a bit more efficiently, and this is the moment when they call it. When it's 1 round away from a map point being gained by Fury, which is, of course, enough time for that to turn around.
I mean, it's 1 of 3. I don't think it's worth sort of saying that things are entirely going wrong for them on this half. If they were in this position the other side, I think they would be doing it at the start of the game. The problem is, as you said, they're 1 round away from the end of the game. They want to keep it off of map point. They don't want to give them the satisfaction and the pressure of it because, hey, that's a place Bliss are in all the time. Trying to rebuild a deficit that is unfortunately 1 step too far. The frequent receiver of a 5-7 left them, starting in the lower bracket, but they pulled it off against huge teams and opponents here. keeping themselves level, maybe getting themselves to map point first. Well, Fury have also been on the wrong end of being the one step ahead team and then the step being kicked out of them. Bliss, the problem, Sighted is missing that single bit of intel that becomes Fury's saving grace. Crit J's position there, the round before where they weren't quite aware of the full coverage. It is something that they did so well on Chalet. Maybe it's because of the knowledge of how Bliss and Fury, how Fury would play it against Bliss. Here, they're looking a little bit lost.
They do, and I really expected this to be a good map for Bliss, considering how they just played on Chalet, but Fury showing what they have as well right now. Struggled a little bit in those first 4 rounds, but after that, basically the double flawless that we were seeing coming out from them, or the near double flawless, only losing a single one on this side yet. Really putting things into perspective. And again, heavy presence coming out around the east side of the map, wanting to take that staircase under control. There's going to be castle barricades from Dark. Really shutting down any quick rotations to come through, so I have to use some utility to open up. But it also cuts off the rotation for the players inside the CCTV and break. They can go back towards Armory relatively safe now because there's no cutoff point that is from the top of East.
Around the back of the banana table. Sage is going to see if they could try and force these castle windows out. Brendo gets the first take, and I think it is the first time we've had a clean first take on the second half from either team. That somebody hasn't instantly found an engagement elsewhere in the same second. That is the beauty of a team talk going well. If they can keep trying to do this bit of a caution game, this bit of an awareness game, they're taking things much closer to their chest. The widest bit of their take right now is just a watch on towards break door itself. They're not entirely exploring everywhere. Instead, here it is, eyes onto office, eyes onto the pressure that they can put towards the site, and suddenly the alarm bells are furious saying, okay, they're going to play this concerned take, let us respond with it ourselves. I9 hits the impact first to stop some of the break, second to get himself to rotate underneath. The Bees force the position too, but you are looking at a battle of attrition here. They're going to see if they can try and sneak the plant. You can get onto the concrete to be safe from underneath, but you cannot get yourself safe from at least the C4 or BG man.
I9 actually dropped there because he's more important alive than he is to take those gunfights, as the Echo has 2 yokais in his pocket, one on site, one right behind the enemy lines here. So as soon as the plant is going to be attempted, there is going to be stuns out there. I'm not sure if one of them just got shot out.
Yeah, they saw it get on the roof, they shot it out. The second has the read, but Wet has the take. BG man's gone, they're inside the site, Sage has locked it out, and you can watch this all you like from the Echo drones, but all you're watching is a murder. 5 versus 1 post-plant situation here. A perfect read and response from Bliss with the timeout of what was going wrong and just refocusing their attention towards the objective play. The drive onto the site, a flawless. You could not ask for a better result of a timeout. They find themselves level, 1 round away from map point, as both teams are.
Yep.
They get there first. It becomes a very scary moment for Fury.
And looking back at the Yokais there, of course, we saw him drop back. I'm all for that, right? When an execute starts happening, you want to make sure that you're using the utility you have available to you. And also playing around on the metal stairs allows you to quickly get back up if necessary. But maybe a bit too careful with the Yokai drones. Could have been a bit more supportive for the rest of his team as people started falling, using the stuns actually to give your teammates the advantage in the fight, rather than trying to keep them hidden for as long as you possibly can in that situation. Because there's so much time left, like 40 seconds or something at this moment the execute came down. There's no way you're going to be able to get enough stuns in to stop that diffuser from going down for the entirety of that time. Usually when it's like 15 seconds left or something, that's when the Yokai is at its strongest.
The Monty makes a grand appearance here.
10 seconds to go.
In the attack, looks like again they're sort of cementing themselves as, look, we can just clear this pocket of space. Let Fury run around on the opposite end. Let their game become a little bit pointless in some regards. It has been an occasional problem of the roster in their showdowns, is that they will have a loose player that not impact the game, not quite get themselves back in time for the actual show and miss it and have to just watch the post-credits, which turns into a reel of people that they have lost. Fish.
this is going to be great.
I mean, they're wanting to really make this army have the worst start possible.
Needs this door to be opened up. That's all they're waiting for. Brendo holding off the other side of that rotation, and there's a Jones coming through. Ooh, actually got shut out right away. And I think they're actually trying to make sure that that door doesn't open up properly. Like Cole is trying to get in a shot from the side onto that Monty, but nothing really happening so far. Got completely flushed out though. Brendo wants to at least do something, but Wedables will find the very first into Grid J. That's Eastairs now under control. Like Cole is blind as well as they're going on for the chase.
The E1D pops, they put that just on the inside of the windows. They cannot try and pushing pressure. This is that pocket play I've talked about, and now Fish spins his way in towards the top of the east stairs. Lycolis has been forced back towards break and can't really rotate out on the second story. Hello, I9. I remember when you were the last person playing this position and lasted for pretty much as long as the round itself. This time forced off early. How long can Lycolis sit there and hope things might start to go their way? Oh, there's a way against them. The C4 swung from underneath. Don't get this second popped off because Fish pops their head. Sage is looking for the swing round for the next engagement. Watching on the rotate on towards break itself. They still have tentative control of East, but with Dark on this position behind the castle barricade, he might get his feet shot if they're aware of it, but it doesn't seem like they are as of yet. However, they have more than enough for the utility to try to pop through it between the Roteros and the grenade. Oda. Smoke covers a bit of the motion. BG Man has the vertical, but can't do a huge amount with it. Dark suffers, but BG Man does get Sage on the swing. The retake on the stairs does not quite have the impact that they want. The shield is in a 1 versus 1 inside the site. He's just sort of calling out all the intel saying, look, he's here.
No.
Swings round. Can he find the second? He's going with the pistol. Cannot get the connection. Oda. It's not quite over yet, but he takes it one step closer. I said today had been the best performance Oda has been able to deliver for this roster, and that is turning out to be Fury's nightmare.
Oda, the awareness he had out there. Of course, you know, losing the Monty is an unfortunate situation, and then he realizes there's someone up on the balcony above, there's someone inside of the office next to me, and he just goes for up, kills him, instantly 180 flick, manages to find the second kill as well. And that is just showing that he is actually finding his form right now. As you just mentioned, hadn't had the best tournament so far. Definitely starting to get into this game. Definitely starting to get back into the groove.
We have a timeout, because if you don't win this, you've got no more timeouts in the whole tournament here. Fury, they look, I'm going to say entirely despondent, but definitely distanced the game ahead of them, the game that they've played, whether it's just the stress and the heat, the tournament that's caught up to them at this point, or whether it's just that this is, as I said before, truly their first do or die game since they entered us however many days ago in the Invitational in Brazil. They have really led up that expectation of fire, fury, pace we wanted from them. Now though, one round separates them and their dream run of continuing here being cut a little bit short. Bliss, they could get this as a 2-0. Technically quick because it was a 7-0 in the first map.
Yep.
And this could find itself hurtling into OT, going the longest distance possible.
Would be true Bliss fashion.
Classic Bliss.
Yeah. I don't rule it out.
I feel, do you know who I feel bad for right now? The people that are sharing the plane with James Devmarter Stewart. He is flying in, he's doing some content for us, so he's hoping they stay in, but I can imagine if there is a way of possibly watching this game 30,000 feet in the air.
Very sure you bought the Wi-Fi for it.
He probably bought a satellite for it. That's how much he loves the OC.
You know, sometimes you have like screaming babies on board, and there's going to be people having screaming Devmarter.
Screaming Devmarter.
Look, it's only for like 2-3 hours rather than the entire day.
The Ossa. A standard classic take onto this play. You get yourself in, you have to secure the fight underneath to make sure that they're not just going to C4 you or impact away. You have one place you can go. That's why Oda is there, because he has this secured. He can force them out of some of their locations. Great combination of the Grim. We hear the shield get put down, but we see Oda get rocked down as well. Fisho, he's going to go for the plant. They hop up and get knocked back, but the impact of I9 cuts that Talon shield. The blinds go through. There's one, there's two! Down, cannot find the next connection. Brendo and Sage against Dark and Crit J. He's going to rebuild and maybe go for the pickup itself. He wants to be secure as the Bees come around the corner. Sage, he's currently a little bit far away, though. He's trying to sneak his way up, or even all the way around. Maybe play some of the angles that were open before. Brendo is sat waiting, ready to catch anybody that goes around the back. Dark, he's sort of all focused forward here, but caught out on the cam. They know exactly where the second player is, and look at that, both instantly rotate round to try and play against the fight. Brendo suffers as he swings the corner. There's one, though. He's going in for the second. They're behind a keeper barricade. Sage suffers some scrapes. Crit J gets one. It's all down to Sage to lock it out here. His own flash is caught. He doesn't want to get blind to 1 versus 1. Crit J, a huge performer. It's the hook, and he keeps it alive. Fury, take us to OT.
Just before the flashbang pops, he saw the sliver of the body just enough to find the kill in the end. And with that, overtime secured. Potential map 3 underway, but that really depends on how these next 3 rounds go. It was a bit of a pocket play attempt from Bliss, trying to go for the Ossa, trying to go quick, and they managed to at least get the C4 out of the way quickly, but those impacts were the true issue here. Wedables almost brought it back as well. But he couldn't confirm BG, man.
As close as it could possibly be, Fury. And now you have the opportunity to give yourself that map point, give yourself that hope of getting to the 3rd map. Turn this, well, short to long best of 3 into a best of 1 battle and brawl for the supremacy position of a large region that really wants to find some sweet success here at Six Invitational, 6 apiece. Starting to get a game on. We're starting to get Crit J. It shows the power of those keeper barricades as well, because not many operators really would have been able to survive as long as they did and offer the support in the positions that they had. They opted to double down here onto Armory.
They're bringing a Monty down right now instead of the Ossa. So Fisher is going to be playing around with a big extendable shield, which you can, of course, use in either 2 ways. Either you go for the turtle plant, where you put it on your back and you manage to get it down, or you extend and allow someone else to plant right behind you. In that case, the impact grenades are not going to be too much of an issue. This starts off with taking control first. They need to get control of East, then they need to start getting themselves towards the actual side, possibly clear out a bit of office as well, so you have the extra pressure on the player that's inside of Archives, since that was a true breaker of that round. And then they'll start thinking about a potential plant.
The long angles, sort of you watch my back, I'll watch yours. As the attention is paid towards Office, they are angling themselves to get that under their control, force out Dark, and make those players that played the rest of that round, the 3 of them that were stacked, uncomfortable. They cannot sit there. They will not be able to sit there if they do this, the first bit of break towards them. But BG Man, he's all well aware of this engagement. He's almost begging for it to come into his territory. Fish has the attention and the pings onto the single player like Olis. He doesn't want to drop into this an engagement without knowing, but they are right below him. They want this to be a waiting fight. They're not going to wait any longer. Oda gets 1. The Monty gets half his health from a C4 here, and BG stacks himself. Ready for the next engagement as we have a second of pause. No pick back up immediately, but it's taken a minute and a half to get that first pick. And now as we find ourselves with only a minute left, we're going to start eyeing up the site.
And the Monty still being about half HP. If he takes those impacts to the front of his shield, it's not going to be doing too much damage. The opening coming through here is BG Man. Misses the opportunity to lock off a kill. He's finding himself quite exposed right now. Brendo, though, will get shot by Dark, who comes into Fountain to provide some support. Oda trying to find something as well, but the wall is still closed. And as he gets shut down by Crit J, from the end, a double kill to come through. Fury find themselves with the opportunity to push us to map 3 now, as it's only up to Wedables in a 1v4. He's getting shot from the half wall. He has no safe ground to thread on. And as he's trying to find some shots with the DMR, it is only a matter of time before we're headed towards the next round, where Fury are the ones that have the opportunity to push us onto the next map.
They launched themselves into that approach and played a game that has punished many teams
Oh!
And what a way! Objects in the mirror, closer than they appear. Boop. A removal there from that approach. They tried to do a cautious play, a structured play, but the single problem was that loose thread that pulled and unraveled the whole Australian sweater. 7-6, Fury. They now sit in a pretty decent position. Remember, it wasn't that long ago that they got themselves the even half and got themselves the opener of the half with a plant on towards Armory. How much has been remembered and forgotten? But this late half momentum has definitely started to fall into the favor of the SEA team.
That's for sure. You've been able to turn things around slightly. Of course, they'll be on the attack as well. It's a completely different kind of pace that you will play now compared to the defense they had earlier. As you mentioned, like, how much have they remembered for the side of Bliss? The same goes for Fury. I see a fuse coming out. It's not an operator we see very often.
Not too often.
Not too often.
No.
But it has some good opportunity to waste utility in the opposite side, and as well as locating or relocating players. And for those of you that have returned after a very long time of not
It's
playing
gone.
Siege, it's gone. Never mind. I was going to say you can put on reinforcements now. But
Yeah, no, it's gone.
Defuse a bomb.
I mean, to be honest, I think they expected a ground floor site. I think that's
Possibly.
the reason they would have brought the fuse. I know you're trying to big it up as exciting. It's kind of pointless
yeah, it's
on this
gone.
take, let's be honest. What they do have instead is something that might be a lot more meaningful. The control of that little plant that we've seen attempted, played, and not quite put in position before. You have the Smokes of Capital, the shield. They are stacking themselves up on towards AC window. They're going to get the portion of the jump out. There's the quick break onto it, force the players away. It's wet. That's going for the plant already.
Oh, the
like,
double!
oh, this is going for the stick. They pull away. I don't think they knew the kit was going down. I think if they'd stuck it, well, it would have been a post plant, but they were concerned about the retake. The double C4, though, nets a huge result here and entirely changes the face because they are not going to be able to get a stealthy plant again. There's the removal of the gadget, the cover of the AC player, the smoke's out, just to make sure they feel a bit safer, and the slightly off positioning on it as well, so they're a little bit more protected. The cover is good. They're looking for the next, but it's a post-plant situation. The shield can be redeployed. 4 versus 3, the keeper barricades to cut off any support onto that window, but the air jabs in, the pistol drop, but not rocked. Fish is inside. They're trying their best. They're right on the back of it. They get them from underneath. Crit J keeping the cover locked at 1 versus 1. 20 seconds. Fury have dug talons and nails into this round, and they're just finding themselves slinking away. Oda, we said he'd been the step-up performer in this series so far. He has to stick this if he wants to hold it. Crit J, you gotta get a move on. You just have to cap the player. There it is! Fury, pull us back and send us towards a best of 1 to decide who stays and who goes.
That last round was such a roller coaster. It seemed like it would have been going towards Bliss first due to the double C4, then the plant coming down, but the multi drops and so does the cover and ventilation. If it wasn't for the bug, if it wasn't for Crit J, and how many times have we said that in that map, it was going to be over. It was going to be the next round with a potential Bliss win, but Fury managed to just drag it across the finish line and pushes to map 3.
What a way for it to hurtle to this position, and you wonder what the mindset is for these two teams, because Bliss was so close to having this done, to having themselves focused onto the fight ahead. Instead, they now have to try and get themselves recollected, get themselves reset, rebuilt into a showdown against a team that's just pulled themselves back. An 0-7 loss to an 8-6 win. Consulate.
But let's not forget, if P9 dies there, Falcons go home.
Yeah.
Everything is on the line.
But obviously the one thing to consider is the last thing you expect someone to do in their full white screen is run at you. For very good reason. They can't see you, but just as the screen starts to recover, it's enough for him to get back
Great
into things.
positional
And I think the thing as well is the turnaround from Nest probably was on the assumption that he would round instead towards the rotate in between sites rather than running straight through the middle door. you will ask questions, you know, where was Palu looking at that point? Was he expecting him to rotate into Workshop instead? I don't know. But the two angles that Liquid were covering were not the ones that P9 chose. What a round we have just witnessed, and it could be, as said Tim, what sends us through to overtime. Here we go though. Not quite Hail Mary coming in, but already Candela's being dumped inside the sandwich here. Liquid wanted to get themselves inside this top floor. Nice and quick, create some room. Got the EE1D coming out on top as well, but Nesk is in. They want to catch the drops. He's found himself one man. Where do they go? Because they can't get out of this top floor. Nesk has found a second. They've cracked things open. They've forced them down into the Piranha's pit, and Nesk stands there waiting. Plant goes down. Quibs finds one. Surely we don't see another round like the last one, Tim.
It's going to have to be something seriously special. It'll be a 1v5 ace clutch if Quibs can pull this out, but he's low health already. Liquid have had time to get outside, and resets shows how Liquid managed a perfect reset. They got it done after that tactical timeout, and you just feel like the words said were right. Come on, enough is enough now. Let's go and show them who we are, and Nesk did exactly that. Straight into sight, like a spear to the heart, getting 2 kills, opening things up, and Team Liquid finally managed to take it. Heartbreak on the face of Falcons, and it's understandable, Des, after that gargantuan effort that they just put in on border.
You can see how it was a play coming straight out of scrims as well. I mentioned it at the time, but the Candela's flooding that top floor forces everyone to drop hatch, to run away. And who's waiting? Who else other than Nesk to catch you as you flee to what you assume is absolute safety, but it turns out not to be. Good play coming out of Liquid to close things out, but my God, was it close. That round 11, I remember that one for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the ideal finish for Team Liquid when they're looking towards the remainder of the day. Really, you want to be coming into that fixture hot, you know, not having Falcons run 4 rounds back at you. But one way or another, Liquid, they get the job done, so show some great mental perseverance and a great tactical time out there, I think it's got to be said. You know, that's obviously a little pocket play that's been brought out. Look, let's stop messing about here. Let's just get aggro, get into sight and put that diffuser down, and it's worked a treat.
And now they've got the reward of facing G2. But before we start talking any more about that, we'll throw it over to our desk, who no doubt have got plenty to say. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Ace and Des, and yes, we do. And for that, we actually have someone on the special guest, Lagonis, or what do we say?
Lagonis, yeah.
Lagonis, there you go. Joining us here on the desk, major champion, and now here at SI, looking to prove the rest of the team at Liquid. Welcome. Congratulations on the win. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm very happy that we won. It was a little tough match in the second map. In the first, we were really good. But yeah, I'm happy and looking forward to face G2 right now. Yep.
Obviously, you're in the lower bracket.
Yep.
Things haven't gone necessarily too well this SI. What do you think are the reasons for that?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, so like what mistakes have you made to end up in the lower bracket?
I think like yesterday, like it was a really tough match for us. Like the coordination from VC was really good. Our gameplay, like we have a good gameplay for that match yesterday, but we could not put inside the match what we have talked to each other. That was bad. So we planned something and we could do in the match. So I was a little bit sad about this. But yeah, now we are in the lower bracket and the run is long, so I hope to at least we qualify to the main stage.
Yeah. So G2 are coming up. Obviously, you will be going up against Alamau. How do you feel? Because the last time Alamau played you, you beat him.
Yeah. So it's always fun to face Alamau. Like right now we are in different teams, of course, but I know his personality and he knows very well my personality. Like we share the same room on the game house when we live together. So yeah, I'm faced to face him. I'm happy to face him, and let's see who won.
Do you think that he struggles against Brazilian teams?
I don't know, like a little bit. Like yesterday they lost against FaZe on the Copenhagen Major. They lost for us, and from W7M on Atlanta. So yeah, I think a little bit, but they got Hamali right now, so he has a good insight of how Brazilian teams play. So I'm happy to have this battle again, and let's see what he can do for us.
I mean, there's one thing that I noticed, that the team was quieter than what we're used to over the past couple of days. Why has that been the case? I hear you constantly talking, giving calls and everything, but the atmosphere seemed calmer than usual.
You mean today or in the other days?
I mean, today specifically, even with the win.
Yeah, I think like today we were very calm because like the match was not that difficult, especially in the first map. Like we were it was going all right. Like everyone was communicating a little bit. So yeah, today was a calm match, but yesterday was tough. Like we could not scream because we just like one round on Night Haven Labs. So yeah, we are feeling match after match, and yeah, that's it.
How's the pressure? You ready to take it on?
Yeah, the pressure is always there. Like we know that the Liquid crowd is like giant. So yeah, we have the pressure, and as I said to you guys, at least I want to make the main stage. So yeah.
Do you want to say that to all the fans out there? You can say it in Portuguese.
Yeah, para todo mundo que torceu para nós aí, muito obrigado. E a gente quer muito chegar lá na arena principal, então espero que a gente consiga e a gente está batalhando para isso. That's it. Yep.
Thank you very much, Lagones. Congratulations, Team Liquid, on the victory. Go ahead, get ready for your next game. Fresh, what a game we had. Falcons almost clawed it back, but still, Team Liquid, they have the experience. We expect them to be more comfortable, and we got that at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that's exactly, you know, we were going into this match, me and Fabian, especially on the pre-desk, and we were saying about how maybe it might be a little bit closer than expected. I think the result and even the scoreline was absolutely as expected. Obviously, Falcons mounted a little bit of a comeback. We said it, I said it would be a very momentum-based game. 7-0 into 5-1 into more dominant halves, and obviously Liquid just had enough quality to get over the line there on Bodder.
It was just a question about time of when they would finish up that game. Like they just needed that one last round when they had 6, and you saw them when they won. It was so relaxed, so calm. This was more of a game. Get through it, get over it, prepare for the next one. And I think that was the expectations before the game, and I think that kept throughout all of it.
All right. I mean, at the end, yeah, like we said, Team Liquid on top, but I feel up next is their greatest challenge. Do you think, after having seen them in this game, Fresh, that Liquid have what it takes to take down G2?
Honestly, it's quite a hard barometer. I think, you know, Falcons didn't put up anywhere kind of close to a fight that G2 will put up. Even though we talk about G2 potentially having that, you know, mental block against Brazilian teams, Liquid will fear G2 just as much as G2 will fear Liquid.
Well, if you're Liquid and you notice them, obviously from your experience, Fabian, what are things that need to be worked on quick before that game?
I mean, both Lagones and Wolf step up massively today, so they have that like more momentum coming into the game. Sure, we saw a little bit worse of a performance from Nesk and Palu, but if they can do what they did in groups, and then we can get the Lagones and Wolves we got today, I think they're standing a good chance. I think that the strategical depth of Falcons was so shallow that it's very hard as a player, especially when you're an experienced player, because you make assumptions. And those assumptions is movement, decision making, and when you're inexperienced as Falcons, playing with a more aggressive loose style, well, assumptions will most likely be wrong.
All right, let's take a look at our Intel play of the game. Play of the game. Put it up on the screen. There it is. And it's on Volps. Fresh, got us through it.
Yeah, again, we were looking for him to step up. I thought this execute on Oregon was actually a really good one. It was very basic, laundry freezer, but Volps was making things happen on the Grim. Grim's such a good operator as well, just generally coming into the way that we've seen him at this event, because he provides such intel, that bounce mechanic that they had. And Volps was the one we were looking to step up. So it was good that we saw him make those plays as well. Hopefully he has the confidence in himself now to be going on to make those plays when they play G2 later today.
I just think it was a great game. I think that Falcons made some mistakes there. For example, the ban on Monty on the second map didn't really make sense to me, but I think that Liquid, they have what it takes to give G2 a real match.
All right, well, Falcons, they bow out of Six Invitational. Personally, as a person from MENA, I give them big commendations.
Yep.
Well done, Shabib. Next time, I can't wait. They'll play better next time. I'm very proud of them to make it here. Though, here is our bracket in front of us. There's still matchup going on B stream. I won't spoil that for you. You'll get to see it on Rainbow Six Bravo. However, we just saw our matchup move. Team Liquid will be playing against G2, Bleed up against Space Station Gaming. And then we'll move on for our final game of the day. We've yet to know how that kind of shapes up, but you'll have to stick around to see more of it. Gentlemen, closing thoughts on this game?
I think it was an enjoyable game, but again, as I said, it's one that Liquid needed to get over. They did, and now I'm more excited for them against G2.
Yeah, Liquid absolutely met the expectations, and again, it's the step up for G2. Literally repeating what Fabian said. I think for Falcons, again, just a quick word, is like, again, expectations for Falcons over the course of the year. They would have wanted to make this event. That's expectations met by being here.
Eternal Bliss has not yet been found, mainly because of a man called CritJ. But it takes a team and a village to get you towards the point where you are fighting all the way tooth and nail. And as I said it in the sort of end call before, it could not have been as tooth and nail as it was. Fury They let themselves in at first a little bit shaky. It seemed like it was going to be the Bliss show. They got themselves to a strong 3-1 lead on their attacks. They were showing a lot of similarities, or the defenses even, they were showing a lot of similarities to the confidence they had on the previous map, and there just wasn't a route in from Fury. And then Fury found the next gear. They started to focus themselves more attentive to get the even half before a back and forth brawl led us to an 8-6.
Yeah, and again, Crit J, you just mentioned it, huge throughout the entirety of that game. I believe he dropped 15 kills at the end of that map, but a lot of them were like 2Ks or 3Ks near the end of the round, where he was just able to make like a decisive change to like the number count at that crucial moment. You see it out here, for example, able to just play around that, keep a barrier, finding 2, and eventually locking it off. And it just kept on being moments like that where he just catches off people off guard and just a little bit sneaky going around the map, and then, you know, not going and not getting caught by those drones from Bliss. So if he continues to play like that, you know, we are headed to Continent next. It is a big map. There's plenty of opportunity to hide. If he's allowed to do what he just did, well, Fury have a really good opportunity of turning this around.
It was the activation for him, and it just said it sort of seemed like at points Bliss weren't quite sure of the game they played. There was a moment where it felt like Fury were going to be able to lock it out in regulation. Bliss, they took their timeout, they took the 2 rounds after that, and then another timeout from Fury to get it into OT. The refocus of Bliss almost worked. They sort of let their game plan slip away from them in the second half. Instead of trying to find fights everywhere, find the ones that matter on the site. Unfortunately, a little bit too far out of it for the success story. I9, again, he's been consistent for the team over the 2 maps, even though the first was an 0-7. However, we start to see like Colas, Crit J, BG Man, and Dark find their feet as well. Bliss, they might find themselves struggling to keep up with the step on Consulate.
Yep, and Consulate, of course, 60% overall this tournament, but we've seen quite a lot of like attacks go in and go quite well.
How did it go yesterday?
Well, they lost it. Fury, that is.
Yeah.
I believe it was a 7-5 to NIP. Now, this is actually the map, one of the maps that Bliss was able to win in their group stages with an 8-6. That's one of the maps that eventually got them here. Again, I would assume that they feel confident going back here. As Fury, of course, they saw everything kind of slip away after this map. So, mixed feelings. Social prediction slightly in favor of Bliss as we get going with the bans. And the funds are coming through.
And the fun sort of sad fact about it was yesterday, there were a couple of rounds that Bliss should have won.
Yeah.
There's the pulse play underneath that went away from them in the 1 versus 2. There was some of the rotations and moments. They had victorious little plays and pocket strats that came together. However, for how close it was, definitely should have been OT. And then from that point onwards, maybe could have been a different result. It isn't. They are here. So it becomes that question that we asked at the very start of the day is, we are heading to this map because Bliss has learned from Fury's mistakes, or Fury has learned from Fury's mistakes.
Last man, Solace?
I mean, we saw Fury play great Solace here yesterday.
Yeah, for sure, but Bliss had also banned it the entire
2
time.
kills.
Yeah, I mean, that was still insane. I thought it was a bait back then, but then if you were actually dead serious, especially dead afterwards, as both of them got shut down by Crit J as well. So he's one of those impact players for the side of Fury. Really need to find a way to shut him down early on, because if he just continues doing what he's been doing over that last map, it'll be a very difficult game for Bliss here.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
We get going. Console is going to be up first, all the way on the top floor. Of course, that is often approached by a bit of a take from the east, from the administration side of things. It is difficult to hold on to it as an attacker. Of course, there's 3 repels, but not really any safe places to hide behind without being caught in any crossfire. So that's usually one of the approaches. Then you push over towards the soda machine hallway, and then you can try and get a plan down onto A.
Yeah, the default plant spot that teams have developed throughout this is just tucked in that corner.
Yeah.
Bottom middle of your screen there. There it is. You sort of push the players back, get the breach to the single wall so they can't get the entire swing, get control of vending machine so you can get the back line of it, and then hope and hold on. It's the only real way that you can consistently build towards a proper take on this map. The rest, if you go for the other side, yeah, you can do quick plays on towards the window, maybe up yellow, to just sort of smash and grab and steal a bit of control, the cross angles just become a little bit too hectic, as well as the play against the verticality as well. This is much more feasible as having a sort of, okay, we know what we're doing and we can get success behind it.
And Iron hiding down below, is opening up some of those barricades, but, you know, more importantly, trying to see if he can capitalize of any of the verticality out here. Using the Vector.
He got there quick.
Yeah, he got there quick for sure. I was going to say, he's not using the DMR, of course, which has a lot more destructibility behind it, so he's not going to be opening his own vertical angles. I mean, making sure that he's at least putting up some pressure down below and making sure that any rotations laid up would be cut off.
Trying to force the player out from the side of admin. It's I9 that suffers the wrong side of the first vertical engagement. He's going to pull himself away with the cover of the E1D because he knows how much use he will be later on. As I said, the single wall breach onto the balcony will get opened up. You're just forcing play, forcing the players further and further back. How much of that Bliss want to give up? How much ground they're sort of going to contest is that tail of it. The single watch of Oda onto the back of, as I said, the drop and the pressure that might come here. Brendo is with some swing support. They can keep some cool control. Otherwise, it seems very default. Admin control, vending, and then the attempt from the point.
Yeah, the R6 tower being sent into the corner, you know that's going to be clear now, so you don't have to actually worry about that anymore. All you have to going to worry about is that no one is actually rotating back in there, and I think that they have that covered properly. More Ciroteros are starting to come through. Stark as well, tossing out some flashbangs, going to try and make something happen. So the magnets will catch them off, though. They'll be forcing them back slightly as the E1Ds continue to pop and continue to give an opportunity to start moving. Fisher now coming in with the smoke, some more utility being tossed out by the defense to try and keep everybody shut. But so are the Bees on the side of the attack to make sure that the defense gets caught up. If you see Sage in here in a very crucial position right behind the vending machines, pops up for one, knows about the second on the staircase, but instantly shut down right afterwards. And Wedables able to find one as it all just seems to be falling into the hands of Bliss out of nowhere. Only up to Crit J now as his teammate's gone down. A 1v4 is what he needs to make stick if he wants to clutch this out for his team. And, you know, we've mentioned it before, he has been an amazing player for his team so far, but even this might be a little bit too much.
15 seconds to go.
15 seconds. None of it seen. Bliss open up with the sort of lockdown here on the top site. They could not find a way to remove the OC players. So, Fury, they lose the first round, but, I mean, it's been back and forth. This map is one where I think the defense is going to find a little bit more structured success. You're looking at the previous two, obviously, Chalet and Border. Very aggressive, very quick, very sort of first and then instantly followed by a gun before the second has even hit the ground. There's a lot more structural work that has to be done on these sites. Unable to remove that player. Him not being netted with 2 is probably a bit of a shame, but they still won the round, so I'm sure he'll sleep easy.
Well, not yet. There's still a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
for this game and the match that comes up right afterwards.
He'll sleep easy about that round.
Yeah, that round is not going to keep him up. It's not going to be causing any nightmares whatsoever. But whatever comes next might be. As we're in next position, again, verticality often important here. So top floor is going to be the main pressure point. Going to see the Buck out there to open up. But we also see the Ying and the Grim out there. So this might also indicate a hint at a potential quick plant play. If they do manage to get themselves inserted quickly, if they do manage to get that control of Piano, it could be an opportunity. Especially if we see a lot of presence on that top floor coming out from the side of Bliss. Now I believe it's 2 players out there. So in the basement, Incredibles going out with that pulse. And that's it, like, it's a toll map. It's a big map, but it's a toll map. And with that pulse, you have the opportunity to just basically see whoever is repelling on the entire site, sometimes even who's on the roof of the building. So there's a lot of information that you can give off to your teammates there of the general approach that's being made. And sometimes even for a C4 kill.
Steadying on with the focus on towards maybe covering this. The flash and grab on towards the top of yellow. Force the players out of the position. They're actually taking a little bit more of their time here. I don't know if they're entirely secure on wresting this vertical control as of yet. But they are so ready to go for this hot hop. The Bees round at the back of a pillar where no one is currently stood. They're trying to weigh up just how much utility needs to be dumped. They take the shotgun drop, and here's the follow-around fight. There it is. Crit J locks out Fisher Guy with the French pump. And now as the blinds come across the little cubby up top in CEO, they have some vertical control. But it is a tale of two stories. The sight of that as well. Now they've got to see if they can try and force some of these other extenuating players out.
Yeah, that's it. They still need to be descending that one floor, and as long as the diffuser is going to be up top, they're going to have to start dropping that hatch, and that means verticality needs to be taken into account now. And Dark, he's about to be doing that. Has that skeleton key. He's going to be opening up many angles. In the meantime, though, you have seen the drop already from one of those hatches, so I believe there is at least the pressure of BG Men now, you know, aiming in front of the actual site near the windows, looking to go for a jump in when the time is right, as Dark is receiving some shots towards his end as well as he's opening it vertically. Still no one to be found though. Bliss able to stall this out to perfection, at least for now. 50 seconds left. There's still quite a bit of utility as Dark is being shot at by two different players now from the vertical angles he's created himself.
40 seconds, and they have to try and eye up the plant itself. I9 is on that, gets rid of Oda. Almost finds the next, but instead picked up and can't pick himself back up. 3 versus 4. Hopped ground in on the back line here. The charge was not able to be dropped in time, so instead he's going to see if he can try and get some revenge with the gun, but Wet gets PG Man. 3 versus 3, 20 seconds. Crit J did not quite get the angle on the fight he expected. The shotgun right round gets Brendo. They have the player underneath. It's a 2 versus 1. Wet on the pulse. Had all the intel on the read. He's going to wait to see when the kick goes. A technical 1 versus 1 right now. The engagement is a shotgun. And he's somehow able to win it out. There's the drop down to the floor. No! Perfectly played, Crit J. Oh, that couldn't be. The final connection of a shotgun played his life. And that opened up the backline planter.
But that's it, like, you know, you're playing against a shotgun there, and you saw him struggling, and then it's like, oh, there's a guy planting there. I can just find him instead, run for my life, because you do not want to take that fight head-to-head with that French shotgun. You are almost guaranteed to lose that on that range. So perfectly played out there. And by the way, what a response time for Crit here, as he walks down the yellow stairs, finds that kill. And Wedapol's so smart there with that play. Allowing Bliss to get in 2-0. That was a close round. Too close for comfort for Bliss. But they managed to lock it off in the end as well. And we'll be going to Garage now. Basement site. To see if they can bring it to 3.
Okay, 2 in a row here, but closer and closer.
Closer and closer,
I don't think there's anything to worry about. Yep, I don't think there's anything that is paying them too much caution. It was the difference of one engagement there. It was the difference of just that shotgun having a connection through the wall, of the plant being 2 feet forward and to the right behind the piano meant they wouldn't have been able to get caught in that situation. As close as it could possibly be.
Very heavy grown. We see a couple of players up on the top floor, just a single person in the side. That's Wedables. It was the man who managed to clutch it out in that last round, but he kind of not continue to rely on those kind of games to come through. So that was a cool way to put the phone in front of your face.
Who needs hands?
Who needs hands? Nobody.
Oh no! Sage should have netted a kill there, but he finds a fight elsewhere. Dark was in the right position to go for the hop. It was a collapse that they spent a while trying to piece together last time round, but when the pressure of the site is all the way in the basement, well, you got time to make it work here. Oda, though. Vigil. Now, we did have some Vigil played yesterday.
Yeah.
No real success from the side of SSG. And then they swapped over against the drone game. Different teams, different games, different potential. And there's the first. Oda tears the head off of Dark. Ready for the swing onto the second. Somehow, nobody really finds any connection. He gets to the secondary SMG. The swing and the pop of the blinds, swapping between guns on the back end of it. Waits for some support. But this is all time that's working for Oda's favor. There is a rotate that comes around the back. Brendo's here for some support. They are able to get an execute. There's the shotgun, but he's behind you.
that once!
What? Oda should not have had either of those.
How did he get away with that? The knife as he runs out. A reload just in time, and the skeleton key unable to connect. Lycola is now on the chase. Is falling as well as Brendo shuts him down. BG Man, the last man standing. He's about 50 HP, and he's finding himself hunted down by the remaining members of Bliss. And as he's hoping to at least find something, a minute left on the clock after all the time wasted diffuser in Narnia. And he's going for the swing and gets shut down by Brendo, but what a round from Oda and Brendo together.
So from the compliment at the start of it to being the closest it's been to that.
I don't know what was happening. It's like
less good. Bad, I would say. I mean, it's just mistakes. It's pure error.
I can't wait for replay.
It was sort of a pullback of expectation. I mean, you have this first take. Okay, they get one, right? And then you react. This, the swing round, and this. Ah!
It's just like, oh yeah, you know, you got the round win in the end. Doesn't matter how scrappy it was. But that was chaotic.
I'm gonna snap my pen in half.
Please don't.
All right.
You're gonna need it for the rest of the event.
I do. I do need it. For
You have a backup though, so you're
I have
fine.
pens. Well, I like to use different colors.
Okay.
Distinguish the
Yes.
different teams.
Understandable. My. That was a chaotic round right there. That Bliss managed to drive home.
5 seconds to insertion.
That's probably like two of the most awkward engagements I've seen at the World Championship. Right after one another as well. Like, awkwardness was forced and it was continued.
Things happen. And we will see where the progression will come through from it. Bliss, 3 in a row. Fury, they're not going to take the time out. I mean, it's the weird way of putting it is the first 2 rounds, there was at least some attention. That is a round where it, you know, you could be in the greatest swing and have those sort of disasters happen, and you just got to shrug them off. That can't be one of the ones that you have to time it. It could be a tilter.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But it's a tilter where the mistakes are very obvious. So you sort of go, look, that's not happening again.
It's one of those rounds where like the focus wasn't 100% on from everybody.
Yeah.
And it's a long tournament. It's been a long tournament so far, and it's only going to get longer for whoever is taking the victory here. So more mistakes will start to seep in, time and time again. And of course, the further we progress, the more punished you will be for those mistakes.
Time after time.
I think they're ready to go in with the Amaru and try and go for a plant if they know that the B-bomb side's clear. The Amaru's just stacked up. The Grim is repelled up in the window as well.
It's a play. It's a pocket play, but it's a play. You go towards the cut window. Usually there's things to stop you pulling it off. Vertical is one of them. And obviously if there was, say, a Thorn gadget, or you assume the Legion Mine is at least on there to stop them immediately getting the plant on the back end. But there's that vertical secured by Crit J. There is a lot of swings that can go back towards it. You heard the break, and well, there's the attempt to fight them. The E1D, the flash to bind the bees, and the drop onto yellow. They're in.
Oh no!
And they're out instantly. And that's the sort of do or die there. One smoke canister can stop this play from coming together. They've gone for a second attempt, but with 2 Bliss kills coming together, there's not much of a connection here. Waiting for the zip to recharge, but another smoke canister, and all they've done at this point is lose 2 players.
Like Colas and Dark were actually pushing in from the yellow stairs area, trying to make sure that there was also some horizontal pressure coming through, but shut down by, I believe that was Wettables as well. Now Benjamin finds himself inside again, second smoke canister popping up, and again he has to hop himself out of that window. Cannot stay there. But there's no more smoke canisters. Indeed, the hatch got opened up, and now it is going to be Impact to open up a long line of sight, but you still got to be careful that you're not losing your life to the player that's out there on the vertical. Crit J has the opportunity to rotate back, and I believe he does, as I9 still struggling and still fighting with the people horizontally.
BG Man does get Oda. Obviously, when you put yourself in that situation, 3rd time's the charm. Ooh, the cover does come together. They have 15 seconds. The watch has to be impeccable, and it is. I9's getting all of the bodies that are fed to him. Sage! You can only watch a kill feed and an outline. The keeper barricade missed. The first pull, the second, the third won't get it. I9 with the 4K. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you again. Fool me 3 times, shame on me.
I mean, this is just feeding bodies one by one. If they all would have gone at the same time, might have been able to get away with it there. But it's like, you're given enough time every single time for him to reset himself and get back into the angle.
I mean, it's rare to see a take so, like, heralded.
Quite
So
literally bashing your head against the wall until it works.
Exactly. They lost the 2 bodies. They just baited the smoke canisters. The 3rd attempt at the same take in the same plant with a difference of about 3 feet to get it working out. And they pull it off. I mean, it's not as bad as the errors we had from Fury in the round before, but also it's... You couldn't have sort of heralded... It's like the trumpets came in. Said, we're going to plant here on console.
And then they get out.
Then you go in again. We're still going to try and plant here on console. They get out. 15 seconds. They come back in with the trumpets. And then they pull it off. And it's just a bit of a whoops.
Locate and defuse a bomb.
I don't know why 4 people try to get themselves in from the horizontal rather than sending some down the hatch.
You know the kind of trumpet.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
A bugle.
It's like when, is it when like a king or something arrives?
Yeah.
It's like,
I9.
hear ye, I9, the fourth is his name.
I9's 3-1 Fury. They've been able to pull around, and, well, they'll see if they can try and get the majority takes onto this site as we go back here one more time. I assume if they are to win this, Bliss probably won't pick into it for the final round itself. However, it seems much more return to classic, and this was classically defender-sided, driven with nothing further than vending.
Yeah, vending was a real choke point in the end out there. Able to find a couple of important kills, or a kill and a lot of damage onto the opposing players. That fell apart. Fisher playing vertical with the shotgun here, continuing to open up a little bit more, but that is also giving away some information about his plays. Crit just watching him move away under the E1D. Now the Bs are going to be spotting him out. There's honestly no way for him to go unseen. BG Man taking a little bit of damage through the drone hole. Actually, the attempt they wanted to go for themselves on the attack, and as flashbangs are being tossed out now, Sage is debating whether or not to hide himself behind the vending machine again. It's a great spot to play in, but you might find yourself caught up as he gets the kill into Dark. A great opening as you find the gridlock, but Ying's coming through. Shut down before the full flashes come out, and instantly afterwards, you see the glasses activate.
With one body off with Dark, their entry, that confidence, sitting on a 1-5. They're going to see if they can try and fill in the pieces. I9, again, I've cited him as that driving force so many times. He's the first to probably activate here, but we know what the player's capable of because Crit J is the reason they are here after his heroics at the end of the previous map. The blinds come against the man with glasses, but he's caught in a crossfire. Brendo, it's BG Man who just tried to hurtle himself
Attackers recovered the bomb.
across. Oda finds Crit J, and we find a mirror towards this first round. This time even better, actually, by the guns of Bliss. They just could not get past that single line.
And that's the issue, and it is such a... I mean, where we talk about skyscraper, you know, you have to clear a divider in the wall between house and the restaurant area. Here you have that hallway on vending, and it is just such a fight to go through. It's like no man's land. Like, on one side, you have the admin, which is usually the attackers, and on the other side you have the defenders on the actual bomb side, and just protecting that one long hallway.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Now it's locked off, and we're headed towards Exposition next. I was almost going to be misspeaking there. I was thinking about that word earlier. It's such a strange word.
What word?
Exposition.
Why were you thinking about it?
I just was writing down my map stats, and it's like, that's such a weird
Okay, at
word.
least you were thinking about it whilst we were playing the game. I thought you meant like you woke up,
No.
brushed your teeth, and went, exposition is a weird word.
No, it's just, you know, doing the map stats, and it's like exposition piano. It's like, wow,
Bomb
that's
located by
weird.
attackers.
Weird things going in my mind, okay?
It's an expo hall.
Yeah, I know, but it's just, I was just... Like, I'm coming from a different language here,
Yeah,
right?
that's
For you,
true.
it's like very logical that it's expo.
Well, I don't know if I'd say it's
exposition.
logical. We had to call out peaceful tree.
Yeah, well, is what it is. But
What it is.
the exposition is just, you know, it just struck me out of nowhere. It's like, weird word. And then I moved on, but I just
And then you moved
remembered
on with your life, and now we're talking about it.
Yeah.
But to be fair, 15 seconds into the round, nothing has massively happened. Although, we have the quick zip back in the pockets of BG Man. And the cover, everything that would make it work. The Finker boost to give them a little bit extra panache, the E1Ds. It seems like there's a pretty solid setup here to try and slow it down. The F-dot mines at the top of yellow. We've seen an approach pretty much every round, consistently, of them trying to get control of that position and then force the rest of the take from it. Jay getting it droned out ahead is going to see if he can try and get that lead through. 3 players stuck around this situation, though. Isn't going to make this easier. That's going to make it even tougher.
Come on. So I just want to hold the angle out here. Escar's being shut up to try and detonate that barrier to be removed afterwards. The E1D pops as well. No real backup on the back of it yet. But Crit J with that French shotgun, they do really love it. On the side of Fury is going to start to move up with the Grim. EMP goes in so he can actually not be blinded. Then it should hit the first shot, but goes down by the British shotgun right afterwards. But not the follow-up onto the Amaru, but it's there for Wettables. And it seems to be going all well for Bliss until the moment that they lost another member. And now things can slow down again with 90 seconds left on the clock. It's a 2-on-3 situation in an important round for Bliss as they have the opportunity to lock themselves into a 5-1 lead before they head over to the attack themselves.
And I think it can slow down because they're still all around each other. Like, oh, let's stop a spiral. You still have Wet that's not too far away. Remember where the site is. And what they are trying to waste right now is that time. Wet takes a deep drop and the rotate all the way through the hatches down 2 stories, leaving Oda, I think, as the sole force still on the top floor, and that's time that's going to be taken away. No, Oda, he's just off the side of the site itself, so verticality is currently in the control of Fury, but there's still the pressure that needs to be put onto the site itself. They have the 2 players, I9, who's been putting in a lot of damage, and Lycolis, who hasn't put in any as of this moment in time. No kills, no assists. Looking for the swing onto the first. They're in the F-dot in the moment. Sage gets Lycolis. I thought that was something insane. But with I9, he's got to do something insane. Can't find a connection. 5-1 is the defensive half here for Bliss.
I like the use of the nanobots there, the boost that you get from the adrenaline surge, because it forces away the AFNet effect to a couple of meters extra, so you actually have an opportunity to get yourself into a proper fight on those closer angles. But it wasn't enough. 5-1. 2 more rounds for Bliss, and they find themselves move up in the tournament, but at the cost of sending Fury home. And it's a pretty big round differential to overcome for Fury, and we saw yesterday that once they hit that 3rd map, they kind of just ran out of juice, and they weren't able to continue on. And then NIP started dominating them. Now, yesterday this was a close game, 7-5 in favor of NIP against Fury. But Bliss had the advantage of being able to just watch those games from the comfort of their practice rooms whilst they were scrimming, and prepare themselves for the way that Fury plays to basically lean into that a little bit.
Well, that's it. This is the perfect time to sort of prove it. This is the perfect time to get it pushed over that line. They are looking now in towards the sense play, in towards pocket drive. You've got the Flores drone, sure, to remove some of these bits of utility, but this reads like, with the read on the sense and the SAM cams and the sort of huge watch on flanks, doubling down with both flank catch operators. Like they have read a strap book and watched VOD and gone, we know how to take this site. The first step in is round onto the back, remove some of the barbs here, on towards the potential spiral control. However, where is the pocket of this push going to come from? Because without real hard breach from range, yeah, they've got the destructible charges in the pockets of fish.
You kind of need to go up to the wall to do so.
You have to be very close, and you only have 2 options. And there's a lot of walls, a lot of approaches. BG Man suffers. 3 builds, 3 structures, and something was thrown over the top there.
Not sure what it was, as they move on again. The information game, important here. And that same hallway on the vending machine, we've talked about it before, how hard it is to actually clear that out. And as the fire pops, some keeper bearers are being used to reinforce the position. Oda trying to get himself into a good position. Is going to be using the sense indeed to waste the magnets. More explosives just going off there. BG Man taking lots of damage as well.
He's in a corridor of fire, and he's the back line of it, so he's wasting as much time as possible. Bouncing back and forth almost. The worst
he's
timing.
stuck.
Oh, no. Uh-oh. I don't think he's got any more charges as well. That's going to force Crit J further out. But
He's just going to hide. Surely there's no one behind that, right? Like, it's not a great spot.
I mean,
They haven't droned it.
it will take a single bit of utility to end his life. But also, if they don't get it, he could end so many hopes and dreams. Brendo is just sat close. Fish moves the kit in. Towards the close. This is it. PG Man ready to strike, and strike he does. Gets one, only one, as the fight is won out inside the site by Bliss. 3 versus 2. The show takes a bit of damage. Cyanide trying to find a pocket of space and clarity, just spraying either side with the pistol. Oh, yeehaw! Sage goes. So does the end of BG Man and post plant. I9. The man of the moment cannot get it. Bliss. They sit 1 round away from progressing in the lower bracket.
I have to give credit to BG, though, because he totally messed up that Azami barrier, but he just went with it. It's like, well, this is my life now.
No, he meant to do that.
It's like, it's totally intended at this point in time. Of course, they didn't know he was down behind there. Probably expected him to have rotated out at that point. And now a tactical timeout there for the side of Fury. Of course, they have 5 rounds. They need to back to back to back to back to back before they go towards overtime.
I mean, you guys can't see it at home yet. The kill spread is a bit terrifying. 4 players. On the side of Bliss is sitting on 7 kills.
Yeah.
7 to 3 is the average. There are players, or a player on the side of Fury that has no kills and 7 deaths. It truly is the story of the guns just not lighting up here for Fury. They have really struggled to get in. Most of them sitting on a 0.5 KD, if not worse. I9 the only one who's positive. Whatever team talk needs to come through, they have to try and just remember what they're capable of here.
That pistol headshot is crazy, by the way. That's just...
Ouch.
You just try
You died to that in ranked, you're like, okay, we're...
All the 4 ending for the rest of the day.
We're
Siege gods are against me.
We're sitting that one out.
Garage! Is that going to be where this comeback comes up from? Because, I mean, this is the thing. They not need to just win a single site. They need to win 5 in a row. So they're going to have to complete a rotation no matter what. So it doesn't really matter where you go, because you need to win anyway, but you might as well just start it off at where you think you're going to have the most opportunity of succeeding now, and then see how close you can bring it. Maybe you can build into that momentum. Start breaking some of that of your opponents. But a very important round coming through right now. And after that, another one. And it just keeps going as Fury is a round away from being sent home. And Bliss looking to continue in the 6 Invitational. How did this start? That's the big question. We are in Garage, top floor verticality. You know, the deal, it's always going to be there. Because that's why Wedables is on the buck, just to make sure that, you know, the entire site down below is going to be as uncomfortable as possible for those defenders.
How much of this will be a red take as well? You've got a heavy bit of vertical to lock in. Crit J's going to see if he can try and slow it down with Dark above him, but Dark hasn't been able to have the greatest success on that sort of looser roam and roll player. Uncontested as of yet, clearing utility as they go, but you know, you remember where you are and how far away you are. Oda is going to be the first that might find this engagement. They have the hot pings on the player. They might be doing that to just sort of say, look, leave. We don't want this engagement as of yet. Dark is going step by step, but he's not handing it over entirely. In fact, he opens up the hatch. It took 2 shots, but look how close they are just behind him. They're almost there to get the immediate catch. It's still just forcing them further and further back. The other reveal.
Oh,
centimeters from the engagement.
This is indeed this is a warning. Leave now or be shot. That is being given to the Legion of Dark right now, and is being hunted down by Oda. Already took quite a lot of damage. The F-net starting to go off. Oda taking some damage from the goo as well, but it is going to be a trade to come through. Brendo opens up on Dark, but it's Crit J that will find Oda as a response. So you lose the IQ. Well, another one falls by Wedables, who is watching through the front doors. And now it all starts to fall apart slightly for Fury. They don't have the man advantage. They need to hold off.
They're locking in. A 4 versus 3 Fury. The pressure is higher than it has ever been. Like Colas, if there's a moment to get a connection with the bodies ahead of you, it's now. BG Man to return to the form we've seen. The Tubarão won't really buy you a huge amount here. But I've complimented the use of the gadget. I9, though. He knows something needs to be done here to break this deadlock, and he's got a teammate to help him with it. They can try and force this first fight. Brendo is watching and waiting. It's an important one. And it's one he's ready for, and he almost gets a bite, but now it's a 3 versus 3. They take out the Jackal. Not the worst thing to lose at this point, but with 30 seconds, an even gunfight is the most important currency Fury could have bought. Bisho guy tries to move into the rest of the fight as Lycolis holds on. At the bottom of yellow, eagerly anticipating the next engagement. Sage is there. There's the first. For 15 seconds to try and get this kit down. They've got the hatch watch. They've got a route through. It's being locked in on the back end. Wet goes down. I9 gets one more. It's Sage to end it here in the 2 versus 1. Gets one. Gets a bite onto the next. No! Fury are kept alive by I9. But they need more.
That was so close. He basically had to double dip on both those fights and hitting bullets in either of them. Bliss just not able to drag it across the finish line now. Fury buy themselves another round, but as you mentioned, it's way too close for comfort. As we were playing in Garage, it is a good side to hold, and we're headed towards X position now, where the next one needs to be stuck. Brendo here, he's just checking the corner. He got swung with some missed timing out there. And this fight from Sage, and it's so unfortunate he was unable to connect that in the end. That would have been an insane way to close off the game. The Fury managed to just hold on for now. As we head on to the next site. Again, I'll mention it. They need to get 4 more in a row. They need to have a complete rotation and do it again to find themselves towards overtime. There's no next map to fight for. It is all to be gained here.
5 seconds remaining.
And Fury need to treat this as round by round kind of game.
Attackers must locate
Because if you
and
start
defuse the
looking
bomb.
ahead at what's next, it's looking grim.
He desperately needs more from his team at this moment in time. And it's always that sort of call on of an experienced player. Keep himself connected with a game at this point, at this much depth. But he is a man on an island. And he has been shooting flares and Australians.
He's shooting the Australians with the flares
With
right
the
now.
flares.
It's like, come on, help, please.
Meantime, Bliss, they have 4 more swings at this, 4 more chances to lock this out, cool and collected. You know, it's always long days of Siege on days like today as well. They need this series to get locked in, because the longer it goes, even if they win, you're thinking of what they have to do next.
Yeah. And from tomorrow, the days are going to be shorter, right? So it's like, this is just the last day that you need to survive, and then you can start going back towards the game-a-day kind of mentality that you look out for. But for now, it's just crunching time. You just need to be able to push through if you want to be making it to, or potentially even the stage at the end of it. It's, of course, the goal for these teams.
Good Jay. Trying to just get himself a little bit of safety, but it's dark. Gets the first against Brendo. Cleared off for now. They'll lose the Iana and the bit of the drive that she would otherwise operate on. Smoke comes out either side of dark. He just dips to some cover, some semblance of safety. BG Man, let's get fish in the meantime. And look at this, just a full rotate back. They're not going to sit around. They're not going to give the advantage of pulling an advantage back here. Whoa. Does suffer a bit. Loud castle screams.
He's the loudest operator in the game when he's screaming, I guess. But the ball's descending the spiral stairs. Someone actually just rotated out there, and look at the amount of openings that are being made by that Yugi. So much to play with here. 2 players actually playing on the basement. One just on the edge of it. As Lycolis is looking to maybe retake that top floor. I9 again, you mentioned it, needs some help. He's definitely getting it from his team slightly this round. As 2 openings already on their side, but we need to find just a little bit more as Oda just escapes with his life, but he's about to be swung on there as Dark comes in and cleans him up. That's a diffuser drop now as well, so they might find themselves with a 3rd round on the board as Wedables is being challenged from yellow.
Rotating their way back round here. They have all the advantage. 20 seconds is left of this round. You assume it's one to wipe off the boards. There's at least Wet getting 2. But with his teammate down as well, with the kit being recollected, not going to find the 2 again. Fury, they hold on. 6-3. Getting closer and closer, but still a long way. Everything gets reset at the start of every single round. If this one goes away, maybe we'll get a timeout. Because so far, since the timeout, Fury has been, well, 2 rounds in a row. I don't want to say flawless.
It's not flawless. It's very scrappy.
It's scrappy.
And we're headed back towards console now, which was, of course, quite close, but did go in favor of Bliss. And I think that's what they're waiting for. If, you know, we're going back towards a site that we managed to win before and we cannot win it, that's when we need to have a tactical timeout to discuss about our next steps. What kind of a play will it be? Well, I see a Nuck for now. Of course, could still be swapped out. Knowing what the idea behind all that is. I mean, the Grim and the Ying, they do make sense. Especially if you want to go for a bit of an execute. But how are they going to play this? Is this going to be an admin take, or is this going to be a quick plant attempt? The Sense is coming back on the board again. Of course, we saw that last time when they were attacking this as well, so it is quite literally a 50-50 of what the plan is going to be here.
It was a great read on the hold before, and they have to make sure that they do it with the same sort of fervor. There was the single missed player, and you wonder if now that a couple of rounds have gone away, now that Fury's been able to build some of this confidence, start to get themselves back into it, if they start to thread some of that. Someone detected outside. I'm fairly sure where that was. Maybe just the run out towards the balcony. Yeah, and then it gets locked.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Making sure there's no one following up on that one, and that you don't have the disadvantage of that wall opened up early. So, still utility that needs to be used there if it would want it to be opened up. But there's nothing there. There's no heart breach whatsoever on the side of Bliss. So this is more going to be, I think, a push throughout defending hallway again and trying to find yourself into the site where you can go for that defuse whilst having to cover out their Kivas. Again being tossed out. Or the Bees. Already RC Roteros. A lot of utility game going on right now, trying to clear each other's strong points. And as we continue, as a minute has passed, Bliss, they know how close they are. But I9 has a pretty good readout here as C4 gets tossed detonated as well, and it will find the opening onto Brendo. And that's a very important entry kill here on console, which was lost before. As Oda jumps up on the table to try and get an elevated angle over the Keeper barrier. Might actually be lucky, find himself with a kill, but he goes off. At the exact same moment, he was going to be able to at least find something.
5 versus 4. With a minute 30, they still got to try and get themselves into one of the stickiest lockdown sites that there is. Fury. They're not paying them the advantage. I9, however, has gone to rotate round to pay them at least some attention with the Pulse. They're getting all of that picked back up. Sage gets crit J. And as the blinds come out over the swing and the kit is on the opposite end, Fisho guy, he could just go for the plant, but instead he wants to try and drive for the kills himself. Gets blinded by his own teammate at this point. That could turn into a bit of a disaster. He's tucked himself background. Death on the desk as Wettables gets removed. There's Sage getting one back. There's the lockdown of the shotgun. It's just Oda left. And I mean, you got a couple of questions there. They were in. They had the kit. They had the site. They had the position. And I mean, Fury had no idea.
Did he not know he had the diffuser? That, like, you expect that's not the case, but why do you go so deep? I thought it was just going to be a fake coming out there where they were going to plant on the opposite side whilst the entire attention of the opposing team was around the same fending hallway we had before, but he went aggressive. Got flashed, fell back into the default plant, then went aggressive again. And he died with that diffuser, and that basically threw the round. It would have been better if he just would have gone for the plant, go on the rappel. In the meantime, your teammates can exert from the building or continue fighting, whatever they want, and get themselves ready as well. That's such a weird round from Bliss. I'm pretty sure the plant would have solved and would have gotten them the round there.
Timeout. We said it would happen. I didn't expect it to happen like that because it should be over. I mean, there's the read, the C4 of the player underneath. Maybe it was the concern the Pulse would come back round, but he was on the other side of the map itself. Dark. Making some things connect. I don't
Attackers
know
need to locate and defuse as
if
many
Fury
bombs as
realized how close they were to the end there, or however it should be. You plant on that window, the retake,
It's so difficult.
it's as proven earlier on.
And also, it would cause chaos. As soon as that plane goes down, you're going to be wondering, where did that come from? Because they didn't have full side control. So you have a really good opportunity that, because of the amount of pressure that was coming down from the admin side of the building, that they were first going to be checking there, realize it's not there, then have to fall back over and realize they need to go for a retake in a very difficult position. I'm not going to call it a gift towards Fury, but it's getting quite close to a mistake that might give them a way back into the series to push this towards an overtime situation.
Fury, somehow you have pulled your way back into this, but you cannot squander the gift that has been given. Bliss, somehow this is starting to filter through your fingers from a 6-1 to a 6-4. The timeout has been called. A cited pressure being a reason things might be falling apart for Fury. And the preparation Bliss had to keep them going, and here, when they are closest to it all, things are starting to fall. Fish was just protecting those from being taken or blown up by anyone else on the side, and he's instantly in and off to the races. They have the ping on the foothold, like Colas. The watch on the player as it gets opened up with some wiggle room, and Wit was just droned out. He's only been able to find 2 kills throughout this, and he doesn't want to be the first easy pick from this Os approach.
Fish, of course, can lead the charge with that big shield. He's a living drone that's shepherding away these players, but still got to be careful of a potential flank from the top, as Brendo will find Darks. This time, the opening will go in favor of Bliss. A huge opening, but Crit J still alive. He hasn't had the best of games out here on Consulate, but he could just pop off at any given moment and go for these huge rounds. We mentioned that I9 really needs the help from his team. Crit J pops up now. It might just be in time to still take this series in the end. And as the E1D pops, Psycholas cannot actually go for the re-pick up of that Electro Claw. Might have wanted to go for a bit of a relocate there because you saw him help back towards it, but it's enough.
Bliss start to flood their way towards the site, but they have the single player watching on the back, the bottom of yellow. They're just keeping the rotations under their control. Crit J trying to eke his way back towards the site, but with things softened and locked, if he does it, it's going to be loud. That allows the freedom of Bliss here to try and charge up. Do they know about Lycolis? We're going to find out soon enough.
Surely you can see the head.
We should see him. No. Fisher guy didn't expect it. Oda does get the watch onto the flank. The E1D pops. They lose the Montaigne. I9 almost gets lost as well. But he survives on a sliver. And he can make that sing. Sage, though, caught out by the side of BG Man. It's a long fight of BG Man. Tears the head off a Wet. Eyes up the next onto the E1D. Lycolis goes down. Caught in a crossfire. I9 gets Odo. Oh, and there it is. Bliss. Suddenly pop it round. Suddenly swing it to an end. Almost without a concerto. Almost without the pace. They survive. But you have to give kudos and credit towards Fury. Doing everything they could. It turned into a chaotic 1 versus 1 in the site, and it felt in a weird way fitting that is how this game and series ends. However, unfortunately, SI ends for one of these 2 teams as well. Fury are our next team eliminated from the Six Invitational 2024.
And they were only a couple rounds away from beating down NIP to the lower bracket yesterday, and now just falling short after they weren't able to fully capitalize on the slight mistake made by the Monty there in that last round. It was still Bliss that was able to pull through, but they have been the leading factor throughout the majority of the series. You can almost say it's a very deserved victory for Bliss. Fury, just the tenacity in them. They never stop fighting.
I'm glad it went as far as it did towards the end of it. After the first map was a 7-0, you sort of expected things to be a bit of a quick series here, but a massive fight back to almost max OT in the second. And then here, from a 6-1 to a 6-4. And as close as it was in that last round, Fury never stopped swinging butts. Bliss got a proper test, a proper taste. Some mistakes and things need to be patched out. However, they can keep themselves going. See if they can try and get closer and closer. Becoming the host team to get the furthest in the tournament. Yep. It was in 2020. We last had some representation. And there, I think it was upper bracket quarters, though it was a different system. How much further can Bliss potentially get? That's on them to decide.
It's a very chaotic last map that we've just seen there. You see it in these highlights. There's just so much gunfights back to back. There was never really a moment of rest as soon as the first shot was fired accurately at one of these players. Bliss able to just carry that across the finish line. Of course, still a lot of work to do and not a lot of time to do so because they will be moving on in that bracket. They will have to quickly go back, check on their mistakes, see what went wrong, and get themselves ready for the next matchup.
As close as things could have gotten there, the 7-4, I mean, towards the end, it doesn't do it justice. You have to give credit. Bliss were the superior team today. They played some great aggressive siege. They had some great awareness, and you sort of see the split here. I9, I mean, what a performance, but unfortunately, team, they definitely picked themselves back up towards the end. The deficit was just a bit too big, 6-1. A very, very long road back.
Yeah. But Bliss, they are now going to be facing off against Wolves as they continue out in the lower bracket. Wolves have looked quite strong as well. Have met them before, so that's going to be a good matchup, I think, between the two of them. Again, just limited time to get themselves ready. Wolves had the opportunity and pleasure to watch this game. Who knows, we might see some repeats of those maps.
It's all to sort of play for here. It becomes this fun conversation. You never really know who's expected. Wolves are a team that has struggled in best of threes on majors at this sort of position. They'll do great in groups, and then things start to fall a bit apart. They dismantled and removed a favorite yesterday, and then got themselves knocked back down. Going back into a game against a team that's starting to heat up on the gun skill, it's going to take a lot from those sort of superstar fraggers on that Wolves roster.
Yeah, last time they met was, of course, in groups. A 7-5 victory for Wolves and an 8-6. So that is going to be putting things into perspective a little bit. Bliss will be eager for the comeback there. And Fury, sadly, are going to be a team to be eliminated from the Six Invitational. They'll have to go back home. But, you know, they managed to make it out of groups. Maybe against many of the expectations that were put up against them. I still think they were able to put up a pretty good fight, especially against NIP here against Bliss as well, just falling short twice.
A long series. Bliss, Fry, Bliss. And yeah, I think you sort of see Brendo pop in. I know I commented on Oda showing up, getting himself positive and getting into these engagements as well. You are getting that from the whole of the roster. It's not a gift that Bliss has always been put with. I9 again, huge performance. It's been a long tournament.
It's been a very long tournament, and the tournament will be a little bit longer for Bliss as well. As you can see, the bracket out here will be facing off against Wolves just a little bit later. I believe that the first matchup of these round 2 on the bracket has already started as well on the opposite stream. So I think it's time to head to the Intel play and then go to a quick break as we'll continue with the lower bracket in just a bit.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser. Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser. I am reloading! Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
I think that they were able to build things